Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks for stopping in tonight. We are 20 sides to every story, and tonight we're going to be sharing with you. This is part two of our Symbaroum campaign. We've been running through the introductory adventure from the core rulebook. So, if this seems like something that looks like fun, a campaign setting that looks interesting, or a rule set that you think your players would enjoy, all you need to do is pick up the core rulebook, and it's got everything that you need to play this set of adventures. And then from there, if you like it, they've got all sorts of books that they are finding ways to take my money for because I keep buying them. Because they're kind of fun just to read through. Very rich story, good lore, um, and the artwork is just amazing. So, highly recommend it. Um, if you're enjoying our game tonight, you want to come and chat with us after the fact, when we're offline, join our Discord server. I popped the link to that in the chat. Would love to, um, hear what your thoughts are, or if you've got games of Symbaroum that you are playing, come and share your tableside stories of what happened in your games, because as we were kind of talking about this a little bit right before we went online, is like these could be all these adventures. They pose these choices in front of you that your game could be wildly different than your friend's game. So, I'd love to hear all of that. So, and thank you. I see Casey and Dave out there. Thank you for the subs. Appreciate that. All right, I think we will just get maybe right into it. So just to kind of recap.
Whoa, thanks for the jams, man!
Hey, Dawson, thank you for the cheer. And the hype train is happening. Doot, doot, doot. Appreciate that. We will give you... There it is. Thank you for the hype train. Appreciate that. Little delayed on the doots, I guess. Here's a little recap of what happened last time when we played. Our characters here have all been making a journey north through a stretch of mountains called the Titans, which is essentially makes up the natural boundary between the old country of Alberator and the promised land of Queen Corinthia to the north in Ambria. And so the characters in our session 0, they had come upon a very large caravan of probably 40 to 50 wagons or so that were hoping to make their way north through the Titans, but due to some inclement weather, some wintry storms that were foretold to be coming through, many of the wagons and such decided that they would not make the way through the mountains, which meant that many of those people were going to stay in the old country, which kind of meant that many of them probably were going to have to live through pestilence and famine and such. And so the group of characters heard about one wagon caravan owner named Argosto, who was going to take a risk and try to get through the mountain pass despite all of this, but he seemed like he was pretty particular about who he would bring along. But the characters managed to show their worth to him, and they were hired on more or less as some extra muscle to hopefully be able to brave whatever dangers might face them, or that they might face in this trek to the north. The reason for Augusto's confidence in being able to make his way through the Titans became revealed to us in the last session. It turned out that he had hired on a member of the, I guess you could say the Arcane Institute of Ordo Magica, a wizard named Bartolom, and he was in possession of an artifact called the Sunstone, which is able to give off warmth and heat, generally in a kind of a bubble that has been following the wagons as they've been traveling north, and been able to um, I guess deflect basically the snow and such as it is that they've encountered so far. But even though they did try to keep possession of the Sunstone a secret, apparently wasn't that good of a secret because there was a thief that managed to get their hands on the Sunstone, and our characters here were instrumental in tracking down this thief and bringing him back. And that thief's name was Keller, who was a friend of Telk, who I think is your original buddy amongst the caravan group. And so I might recharacterize a little bit what Keller said about why he was doing what he was doing. I think I had him say like he was a part of like a thief gang or whatever, and he was trying to get back in their good graces. He'd been kind of like kicked out or whatever. I think all of that remains true, but I want to add a detail because we talked a little bit at the end of the last session about who the leader of that bandit gang is, and that leader goes by the name of Mal Rogan, who is he's undead. He's an undead bandit lord apparently that has a bit of a reputation. I think we said that Jomilo, you recognized his living name. His living name was Rogan Gorinder, and he was one of the Queen's Guard during the war. But he was killed in battle, and the legend or the reputation that follows him is that somehow the corrupting influence of the Dark Lords got to him, and he came back as an undead. And now he rules this bandit group in the mountains, and they prey upon groups going north, essentially. And so I think there's going to be an added piece for Keller in that we're going to say that he was actually one of Mal Rogan's soldiers. So there's a little bit of a deeper loyalty there than just he's trying to get rich or whatever. That there is something deeper that ties him to that person. But nonetheless, the group, you all managed to nab Keller kind of right in the nick of time. You saw that there was a large contingent of bandits that were making their way up north when you confronted Keller, and you managed to get out of the vicinity of them just in time, and brought the Sunstone back to camp. What was imperative about finding the Sunstone was that there was a big snowstorm that was on the horizon. You were about to get dumped on. So we're going to pick up our game kind of just after that. I'll summarize a little bit of that after. I think we should do some character introductions here, but that's basically the background of what has happened up until now in our story. So, and real quick before we do character introductions, I see, who was that? Oh, it's Dave. Thank you so much for gifting the 5 subs. Really appreciate that. And the hype train was fun. So choo choo. Thanks for hanging out, guys. So I don't have a prompt for you guys for introducing your characters, but why don't we just kind of go around, tell us what you want about who you're playing tonight, and give us a little insight to maybe their headspace going into the adventure tonight. So, Adrian, can we start with you?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Adrian, and I am playing Jomilo, who was a soldier in the Queen's army and fought in the war. And obviously, the war definitely scarred him. And there might be a question as to whether or not he left the army, or deserted the army. Who knows? But his name is Jomilo, and he needs to get over to Ambria because that's the only place where there's a chance for life and a future.
Awesome. Thank you. Robyn, let's go next to you.
All right. I am playing Temper, who's an ogre. I have her occupation as bodyguard because she likes to find a person that is worthy of her protection and give him or her all the protection she can give. So sometimes it's nice because,
Hmm.
somebody like Telk gets to come along with the caravan. Other times, not so nice, because then maybe it's a little overbearing.
Awesome. Let's go next to Papa Gnosis.
Yeah. So Papa Gnosis kind of has been traveling the countryside, dressed as and acting as if he is a priest of Prios, but he sort of revealed to his friends here when they were going after the Sunstone, that's not what he is, and that he's a shapeshifter. So at this point in time, now that they've kind of returned to camp and returned to, I think he's feeling sort of vulnerable and sort of like he's watching these people because he wants to make sure, he kind of let loose a pretty hefty secret here. And he's just watching them to make sure that they're trustworthy and he doesn't have to, ditch out and go back on his own again.
Awesome. Thank you. Lauren, let's go to you next.
Hi, I'm Lauren, and I'm playing Elin. She is a human witch who is really going home now. She's from the north, and as it gets closer, as they move towards that goal, I don't know, has some mixed feelings. Obviously things down south were not sustainable. There was famine. There was, it has to be done, but she's anticipating a things that she's going to see up there that are probably not going to be good, and just be also how it's going to feel to be back and be with this new group of people that she barely knows versus her people. So
yeah, I'm Mick. I'm playing Fetch. Fetch is a treasure hunting ogre. He was kind of brought in by a group of goblin thieves, adopted by them, and that leader died. Group fell apart, but the leader had always talked about there was a place up north where weirdos like goblins and ogres are accepted. Whether or not it's true or not, he doesn't know, but it's the only thing he's got to hang on to, so that's what he's trying to do.
Awesome. Thanks all. I guess I should just do a little rundown too of there's a lot of NPCs that are a part of the caravan, and so we can highlight maybe a few of the more notable ones. So of course the leader of the caravan group is Argosto. He is sort of the sponsor of this whole thing. I think you have some deal with him that he was going to pay you upon entry into Ambria. The number I want to, was it 50 Thaler or something like that a piece? Something like that. Which might be like a wild number. I really don't know, because I don't know how the economy works in Symbaroum. So maybe it's like crazy, maybe it's not. I don't know. But he is joined by two of his bodyguards, Wes and Gustav, who I believe it was Temper and Fetch had to sort of do some kind of melee for his amusement to get on this caravan going north. There is, of course, Telk, who is a wagon owner who got the heads up about the caravan going north initially from, actually, it was Keller. So in a weird way, maybe none of you would be going on this trip if it wasn't for Keller. So there's a weird thing maybe there, in just a butterfly effect kind of way. So he's there. Keller, who is, I don't know, I'm going to be relying on Robyn for you to kind of be updating us a little bit about what is happening with him, because Argosto wasn't
Tied
like
up to him right now.
Yeah, is that what it is? Are you like handcuffed
His hand
buddies?
is tied
like
to
tied
mine.
up? Yeah. Because he is basically your responsibility. Argosto is like he can stay alive, but you're responsible. If he screws up again, you're going to be equally to blame. It sounds like. We also have these two pathfinders. These barbarian pathfinders, Belun and Ludo, who have been sort of responsible, I guess, for helping the caravan navigate some of the treacherous terrain, and also they typically take a night watch. And so their jobs are pretty important, especially now that I think the group has some anxiety about the fact that there might, Malrogan may very well be after the group, since the Sunstone didn't get delivered to him. So they kind of perform a duty in that way. And there's also Bartolom, who is the owner of the Sunstone, and so he is the one, and you've probably seen him, well, maybe we'll get to that a little bit, but he's got the Sunstone again, and he's activating it to try to ward off this snowstorm that has been dumping on you. And there's another character here that might surface a little bit more this session. Her name is Lestra. And Lestra is a devoted follower of Prios. And probably more so than that, I think you all would be able to identify that she is a member of the Black Cloaks. And so the Black Cloaks are, I don't know if they're kind of like the intelligence arm of the church. Like, they are responsible for, at least during the war, like, they were responsible a lot of times for getting information about what the Dark Lords were up to. Now that the war is over, they still exist, and their primary goal is to root out corruption. So a lot of times that might mean hunting down abominations or things that were born from corruption. It might be trying to learn, there's probably stories about them spying on cults. Anything's a cult if it's not worshiping Prios. So, there's that. So that's some of what they do. They're information gatherers, and sometimes they're even like hunters. But she has stuck to herself quite a bit. I don't think she has really become too prominent in the group's eyes as of yet. But I think as our session is starting, it's going to be an evening. And it has been an evening where the wagons you haven't really traveled this past day. And that is because the snowstorm is bearing down. And even though you've got the Sunstone in hand, this storm that you're currently under is so intense that Bartolom, he can keep you all safe. He can keep you from being bombarded by the snowstorm, but he has to be focused on using the artifact. And so you've been been holding still, just waiting for the worst of the storm to subside so that you can then maybe push forward. But even that is going to have its issues because the rest of the road is going to be this is the situation that people would have been afraid of, is that the roads would be impassable and someone could get stuck. You've got the stone, so in theory he can melt your path forward and get you back on track, but it's going to be a little bit slower moving than it had been. So in any case, we are at a point where it is evening. You've got the pathfinders have been on the outskirts of the wagon circle, kind of just, even though there's not much for them to look out into. If you can imagine, there's a heat bubble around the caravan, but when you look past that, it would just be a cloud of white because the snowstorm is bearing down. So there's not much for them to watch out for, but nonetheless, they're just kind of on the outskirts as maybe the first line of defense to call out whether something would pass through that and enter into your so-called bubble of safety. The rest of the camp is kind of, just trying to make the most of it. You're sheltered. They're, getting their cook fires going, making evening meals before maybe settling in for the night. But in the middle of it all is Bartolom. He's at the center of the wagon circle. focused on this stone. And you can tell that it has taken a toll on him. He just looks exhausted. And in this moment, as you all are, doing your own evening routines, you see him collapse. And Lestra, the Black Cloak, runs over to him and like kind of catches him. And you can see that she's aiding him to like get him back to his wagon. And she like points out, maybe she'll point out at Jomilo, and she'll ask for you to get some hot water boiling, get some tea for him. He's going to need to regain his strength. And then she helps him into the wagon. So that's kind of our opening scene. You can see maybe Argosto takes notice, worried, concerned look on his face that the Sunstone isn't actively being used right now, but he's looking around. It seems like you're still getting some residual warmth. That effect doesn't like just disappear as a result of Bartolom no longer actively focusing on it. But you can see he's maybe a little concerned or whatever on the edge of the camp. So I think maybe Telk probably has your usual fire going. Maybe some of you will just kind of go around and kind of ask each of you, like, what is your character up to, or what are you all doing? But does anybody want to start and tell us a little bit about what their character is up to in the midst of all this?
I think Jomilo is heading out and getting that tea that the Black Cloak told him to get, and running over to Bartolom and then talking with Lestra, right? Is it Lestra? Lestra.
Yes.
I'd say. So Jomili would say, well, Lestra, do you think that you can work the Sunstone? I'll stay here with Bartolom. Can you? I don't know how long, this bubble around us would last if he's not actively working with the Sunstone.
She seems like you can just see like her face kind of contorts when you ask her about using the stone, and she says, I would not touch it myself. I can barely stand that such a thing is being used. You can see what it is doing. Look at what it is doing to him. Don't you smell it? And you do. Like there is this just almost like sulfuric smell that it doesn't seem to be coming from the stone itself. It's coming from Bartolom. And probably even in his presence, like you could just feel like his skin just looks cracked, and you can see almost looks like his veins are kind of like inflamed, kind of bulging out of his skin a little bit. She's like, he's incurred enough corruption for all of us. He's trained in such a thing.
Will he get better? Does he?
I will try to tend to him. But he has pushed using the stone for far too much. We must wait to see how long the bubble holds.
Well, if the bubble doesn't hold, and I know that it bothers you, this Sunstone, but if if the bubble goes away, we're all dead.
I think we should wait to see if it is necessary.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else? Anything else that you need?
Just the tea for starters. Thank you.
All right. I'll let everybody know what's going on, and then they'll run off.
Yeah, in hearing that, I'll very begrudgingly go into this tent because I frankly want nothing to do with Lestra, but I'm swallowing my pride and concern and going in there.
Hello, witch.
Hello. I know you don't want me here, and I don't want to be here, but I do have a particular skill set that you might find valuable right now.
Well, you, better than any of us, would be able to see the damage that thing is doing to him.
That's yes, what I wanted to talk about. I've never seen anyone as far gone as him before. I don't know that he's.
Well, what do
Go ahead.
you suggest?
What do I suggest? Well, I suggest we need to find out how many more days we are supposed to be keeping this sunstone going, because I don't know that we have many. I don't know that he can keep going for much longer. And we need to start planning on what we're going to do if he is incapacitated.
Well, I would say take it up with Argosto. He has the final say on whether the wagons move or not. Maybe he has some insight on what the coming weather will be. No. I will not ask you such a thing. Unless you have come here to say that you have some way of knowing which way the
No.
winds blow.
Only with him. I know which way the winds blow with him. I can tell you his state. I mean, you can also see with your own eyes, but I can give you a very precise understanding of where he is and how much longer he can tolerate.
She just kind of takes like a step back from you and she says, "Very well. Will the taint of corruption be on you then?"
Briefly, yes. Not all of his, just a small amount. That would be for anyone, for you, if I did it to you.
You've done this before. You're not going to, I don't know, grow a third arm or become
Is that
yet
what they
another
teach
problem.
you? Is that what they teach you? That we grow third arms? Is this swirling about the no? There will be no third arm. It'll be no nothing. Just, do you want to know how much longer he has or not?
Go ahead.
Right.
Then what did we? It was
Oh.
Oh.
I see Dees.
I did. I rolled the witch sight. So basically,
Okay, so it looks like it was your vigilant is 11. You rolled a 5, so you rolled
5,
under, so
yeah.
you're good. Okay,
yeah.
so this allows you to see what that shadow around him is, and it is just this very ashen colored stain all around him. And you can see that it's like kind of concentrated a bit around like his chest, like, and it just seems like it's almost like a vapor, like a smoke that wafts up off of him. A lot of times when you would use maybe witch sight on an uncorrupted individual, it would just be like an aura of color, but this is like smoky and cloudy and blackened. And so you can tell that he's not at the point of like permanent corruption. Like it doesn't look maybe as you're gazing at him with this ability, you can kind of see that it like wafts away from him and kind of evaporates. It doesn't feel like a stain on him. It's just corrupting influence around him. And so your assessment is that he hasn't incurred permanent damage to himself.
Great. All right. And so I'll tell her, well, wonders never cease. He can recover from this at this point. It's not permanent yet. If he goes on in this state without resting, it will certainly be permanent. But if he rests, he should recover.
Well, then, we will just tend to him. We will watch him, give him the time that he needs, and hopefully, what he has channeled into this already by sacrificing himself for tonight, it'll be enough to get us through until he's ready to give it a go again.
We can only hope. And I'll turn and walk out.
How are things going with Temper or Fetch or Papa Gnosis?
I think Papa Gnosis is staying as far away from Lestra as he possibly can. He does not, he kind of views her as a witch hunter or of sorts, and he thinks of himself as the target. So he's probably lurking so that he can hear what's going on, but he really does not want to be seen by her, like, ever.
I think maybe Ludo and Balloon have noticed this the past few days or whatever, and they're on the outside of the wagons. They kind of like motion for you. They say, "Hey, Gnosis, come join us on the watch."
Yeah, and I'll do it. I'll go join them. How goes it? Do you see any sign of anything in that haze? Does the haze appear to be coming closer since the sunstone has gone down?
It feels like it's lessened a bit. It just doesn't seem to be accumulating as fast. I think maybe the worst of it is over. And we'll say
Sure.
Balloon holds up a flask and passes it to you. And they're just kind of like patrolling around, like kind of in a clockwise motion as you're walking. I say, yeah, the storm seems, I don't know, maybe another couple of hours, but I think we might be good to move in the morning.
I'll take a swig of the flask and then pass it to the next one and say, well, I think whether the sunstone is operational or not, then we better be moving.
Yeah. Those bandits, they, undead or not, I don't think they could have made much progress following us. Not in this storm.
That's what I was hoping. Still, no sign of anything out there, correct? Anything to be concerned of?
Not that we've seen. But, as we get up further in the mountains, who knows, the wildlife up here, bears, wolves, it's not uncommon for such things to come upon camps like ours, especially nighttime after the scent of food and everything like that wafts into the hills. But we'll keep a good eye out. Say, you've been keeping a distance away from Lestra yourself. Yeah, we've gotten that look from her too. Why do you think she's with this group? You know, why would Augusto have a black cloak?
I don't know. That's one of the reasons why I've been keeping a distance. Whatever's brewing, I don't want to be a part of it.
Well, I think that's smart. Don't give her anything. You know, they have long memories. Those black cloaks. Even if it doesn't concern her today, she'll take it back to the higher ups. And you say one thing out of turn, it might come back to bite you in the ass 5 years from now.
Have you had experience with the Black Cloaks?
Not personally, but I mean we've been with quite a few groups, and so we've heard some stories. We're lucky it's just one. Sometimes they're very dangerous.
In these stories, what befell these groups that were traveling with Black Cloaks?
Well, I mean, even if they just have the suspicion that you're worshiping some god that isn't Prios, or if they think that you're corrupted, they would rather put you in the grave than take a chance that you might turn sour.
And that's the way she looks at you as well, as if you're sour.
They both make a vigilant test.
Okay. Fail.
Yeah, they both look at each other and they're like, yeah, I don't know. I get the feeling that she thinks that. But you too?
I just don't like the way she looks at all of us, as if she's searching for a reason.
Yeah.
And the things that I have heard in, my orders that I'm a part of, I've just heard that the Black Cloaks are a vehicle for political intrigue and for taking out one's political enemies instead of necessarily furthering Prios. And so I am very wary of it.
They're still passing around that flask, and it's like a pretty terrible tasting liquor, like just like a moonshine kind of thing. But they just kind of nod along as you're talking, and they're like, "Hey, we're not Ambrians. Like, it doesn't take much for them to look wayward against us. We got to stick together, If you see something or if you notice anything, like, we need to have each other's back."
Yes, I agree. And I'll kind of cheers, and I'll take a big swig, of the grog, and I'll just, say, I'll look out for you if you look out for me, and that's the way things shall be.
And they both, yeah, like in unison, kind of nod along, and they say, "Well, we'll let you know if it looks like the snow is subsiding that we might need some help with the watch tonight, but as of right now, yeah, you can let people know. I think it's starting to subside."
Cool. Yeah, and I'll do that when, after we kind of make our round. I'll go back to camp and let everybody know. And then I'll also probably later in the evening, I probably will, whether they need the help or not, I will probably join them on the watch.
Sounds good. Hey, Kamas, good to see you. So let's check in real quick with how about Fetch? What is Fetch up to?
If either of the magic users have made their way back, I'd be asking what they saw, what they heard, and then would either of you be able to use the stone if you had to? Is it only that guy who could use the stone, or would somebody else be able to use it? If worse comes to worse.
I mean, I would be willing to try if worse comes to worse, but I'm not especially attuned to it or anything like that.
I don't know the first thing about it, how it would be used. I do know that Lestra fears its use, but it seems that she fears most things. I would say this: if it became an option of life or death, I would attempt it. But I don't know what the results would be. The good news is, having gone on watch, and talking with the crew, it looks like the storm is subsiding, and that perhaps sunstorm or not, we'll be ready to move in the morning. So, that is definitely some good news.
And he should be
So that
recovered.
means we'd leave tracks.
It's a good point. Well, maybe it will just lightly snow, enough for us to move, but cover. No, he'll be better in the morning, though. It's not permanent. It's just, we just need to get through tonight, get him some rest, and then hope for better weather.
As you are all kind of weighing the potential use of the sunstone if it comes to it, Tulk will come around with some more of that porridge that he has made, or the oats that he has made, and bowl it up for each of you, a little something to eat and everything. We'll say Keller is already like fast asleep or just passed out from the day.
I was gonna be interacting with Keller,
Okay.
but if he's sleeping, then I guess
No. He's still awake.
Okay.
Talc will come around with like a bowl and everything, and here's to you. Little something to eat before checking out for the night. How's my buddy holding up there? Keller just looks like miserable or whatever.
Well, we've arm wrestled a few times and he's not very good. How about one more time, Keller? This time you may win.
Long sigh. What choice do I have?
No, put your soul into it. Come on. You can do it. Yeah.
And then I can eat?
If you win.
You know I'm not going to. But he puts his hand up, and he's just like, shamefully his head is bowed.
1, 2, 3.
I already started. What? Come on. Ow.
Oh, well, you came very close that time.
Jeez.
You lasted longer than before.
Enough of these games. I just want to eat and cry myself to sleep.
Okay, half a bowl of porridge. You did good.
Telk pats him on the head. Just remember, at least you're alive, good buddy. So, in the next hour or so, you notice that as you look up, the light from campfires and such giving a little bit of illumination to the area, that it does seem that it isn't just a blanket of white above you, that probably that snowstorm is subsiding a bit. And pretty soon it's just like the flakes of snow hitting the heat or whatever that just kind of melt mid-air or whatever. So you're feeling good that the prognosis of the storm being done by morning might actually be true. But is there anything else that anybody wants to do before you would like turn in for the night? Maybe some of you are doing watches and things like that. But I think we could maybe fast forward to the morning. And as morning comes, the snowstorm is basically done. But Argosto, you've noticed like Argosto goes into Bartolom's tent at some point, maybe to check up on him and see how he's doing. And Argosto comes out and he says, "Group huddle, everyone. Gather out. We need to talk about state of affairs as we move forward. We're going to get headed out here in just a bit. Bartolom is, he's doing better. But the focused use of the Sunstone, we can't put him through that again anytime soon. So tonight, we're going to have to keep ourselves warm the old-fashioned way. So I'm going to need some folks to go out and collect some firewood so that we have supplies for tonight's camp. We have to try to limit the use of the Sunstone going forward until Bartolom can recover. Do I have some volunteers?
I'll raise my hand and Keller's will go up too.
And you see Argosto is like, well, you want to take him out into the wilderness with you?
He's getting stronger.
Do we want that?
I don't think he really is getting stronger. She's training him though.
Well, I think you'd be able to carry quite a bit back to camp. Maybe you leave him behind for just the next hour or so. We don't want somebody running off.
Okay.
Keller looks somewhat relieved. I think maybe Ludo. Yeah, Ludo will raise his hand and say that he'd go out.
If one of my friends from the watch is going, I will volunteer to go as well.
Yeah, Fetch will go.
Old Papa
Who's
Gnosis
gonna watch
doesn't know who
Keller?
to trust right now, but he trusts these guys because he got drunk with them.
And Elin will stay back to watch to, see if any healing needs to happen or anything for our little Moonstone buddy.
Okay. And I think Argosto says he can put Gustav on watching Ludo. They just tie him up to one of the wagons or whatever.
So Jomilo will also go out if he sees everybody else from his crew heading out. Doesn't want to be the odd man out.
Yeah. So then, with all of that, all those volunteers, Argosto says, okay, collect as much as you can in the next hour or so, and then return back, and then we will get started. And so, I think as a group, you all start to head out, and you can tell that the snowdrifts are, probably a good at least a foot high, So you're able to traverse it or whatever, no problem on foot, but it's going to be a little bit of difficulty for the wagons, and so that's where a bit of use of the sunstone will come in handy to like melt some of that off of the road so that the wagons can get going. But it's more or less they don't want him all day concentrating on the use of the sunstone. They want to make sure that they keep his corruption at a manageable level that he'll be able to recover from it. So you all start to trek out just a ways away from the wagons and make your way out into the wilderness. Just a very short foray. And you could find, because you traveled like through kind of the woods over here a bit to get to the windmill in the previous adventure. So you're probably in pretty familiar terrain as you go, and you're just looking for the base of trees that you can kind of dig throughout the snow to maybe find a bit of like felled wood or whatever. There's probably enough hand axes or whatever to like cut little pieces of kindling and such off that you'd be able to bring with you and collect to take back to the camp. But after about maybe 15-20 minutes or so of being out in the snow, you hear kind of this bestial roar not too far off, and Ludo gives a cry out like for help. And as you all hear those desperate cries and collect yourselves to go take a look, you can see that he is backing away a bit. I think we'll say that both Ludo and Balloon are out there. I think they both probably make sense that both of them would have gone out there. But they are together kind of backing away from this huge, monstrous wolf. It easily stands like 10 feet tall. And it is flanked by 4 smaller creatures that are growling and baring their teeth. Also kind of canine-looking. Do any of you have the Lore Master ability? Okay. They all kind of have maybe a little bit of like a hyena kind of look to them, just kind of mottled, darkened fur, but a little bit of a canine face. But they seem to be following the lead of this larger creature that is stalking the 2 barbarian pathfinders. And so I think right here we will move into an initiative procedure to see what happens. And so just remember, probably nobody has their weapon drawn in this instance. And so in Symbaroum, to draw your weapon is a movement action. And maybe I'll do a few rounds of combat, and then we'll switch back to see what Elin is up to at the camp. So we'll say Gnosis, as you are kind of starting the combat here, you're looking, and you're probably maybe about like 30-40 feet away. We're not going to get real technical with like how many feet things are away. Like you can just tell me, I'm moving up to the thing or moving away from the thing, and we'll just theater of mind this a bit. But basically you're probably roughly about 30 or 40 feet away at kind of a copse of trees where you were collecting firewood and such, and then you're looking southward, and you can see the 2 pathfinders is backing away from this mob of this pack of bestial creatures that clearly have one thing on their mind. It looks like they're ready to strike.
And am I mistaken? You said we've sort of identified like maybe the pack leader of the creatures?
Yeah, the one that's like 10 feet tall, that would like definitely be
that one.
The big one. The others are not. The others look like a natural sized like wolf. type creature?
I think, I think Papa Gnosis is going to try to use one of his mystic powers here.
Okay.
I think I'm going to try to use Bend Will on the huge, like, pack leader creature. And, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Because I think he's going to, kind of pull up his fake cross or whatever the symbol of Prios is and be like, fake it. He's gonna be like, the power of Prios holds you back, and blah blah blah, all of this, and I'm gonna try to command it to like bow to me, to like be fearful of me.
All right. So you're going to make a resolute test -3.
-3. Okay, so click on resolute. I will hit modifier -3. And I'm gonna roll. Let's see what happens.
I think you need a 10 or less. And you have it, so a success.
All right.
And then
So yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead.
And then you said you would like it to bow.
Yes, the mystic can seize control of the creature's will by making successful resolute test. And the controlled creature can only perform one action. So the action that I'm going to have it do is like to bow to me, and I'm going to go and place my hand on its forehead and say, "Beast, be still," or some shit.
Sounds good. That'll bring us to fetch.
We'll pull my axe and dagger out. I think that's my action, is it?
That would be it counts as a movement action. So on your turn you can do a movement action and a regular action. You can anything that is a movement action you could use with your action afforded to you. So you could still like move or do something else yet on this turn.
So am I able to draw and throw my axe in the one?
Yes, you could do that.
Yep. No, we'll do that. We'll draw and piff my throwing axe at the 10-foot bugger, because that's the scariest looking one.
The big one, that will be an accurate test -5.
I don't remember how to do this. Where are we? -5. Oof, no.
And
Bad.
that was a nat 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was a whiff.
So that axe definitely goes like, maybe you're trying to go for like a headshot or something, but like angled it like way too high up to like quite land it, and so it just goes like kind of like arcs over the creature. It goes sailing like into the snow some 15 feet behind it or so. But, you know what happened? It's bowing at the same time that you like throw the axe. That's what happens, because it then becomes its turn, and it does this bow thing and seems kind of like stuck in place there. But it almost looks like as the beast bends or bows its head and lowers it to the ground, it snarls and growls and looks to the left and to the right, and then shifts its gaze directly on Gnosis. So, let's see. I said there was like 4 of the smaller creatures, I think. 2 of them are going to go after the pathfinders, but then 2 of them are charging around them and going like straight for you, Gnosis. So give me a defense test.
Defense. How do I do that? Is that gear? Do I just click on the my? How do I do a defense test?
I don't know. Try gear. Then, like, if you click on the witch gown,
Oh,
does
there we
that
go.
bring
Okay, I
something
got
up?
it. Yeah,
Okay.
I got it now. Yeah, here we go. Okay.
Okay, so 1 success. So you managed to dodge one of them. Do it again for the second attack.
Let's do it again. Let's get these dishes done, Gnosis.
Oh, but I didn't tell you what the.
Oh,
It
was there a
wouldn't have
modifier on
wouldn't
there?
have mattered on the first one because you would have easily cleared that one.
Is the modifier more than
It'd
5?
be no, it'd be a 3. So
I
you
think
should
we're
be good on that one. So those two, you managed to dodge out of the way. The two others are kind of in melee with the 2 pathfinders. You could see both of them have a wolf hanging off of their arm as they're, the teeth from the creatures are just bearing into their flesh, and they're kind of struggling in this grapple with them. Let's go to Temper.
Okay. I will use my movement to approach one of the creatures attacking Gnosis, and I'll use my action to do another movement action and pull out my sword. So
Sounds
I'll
good.
just get to the closest one I can and stand there menacingly.
Let's go to Jomilo.
Okay, so I have a free action with my dominate. My dominate ability. So I got to roll a successful persuasive test, and that forces an enemy to hesitate in melee combat. So actually, before I do that, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move towards the one of the creatures that is attacking Papanosis. And that way, maybe that could be flanking. Maybe.
Yes, you could get flanking
Okay.
with one of the ones that Papanos dealing with.
And then I'll use my my free action to do that dominate test. So I have to succeed with persuasive against resolute. Let's see. Do I need a
Let me see. So you need to know persuasive. Or you're making a persuasive?
yeah,
You're
against
making-
resolute.
okay. Against resolute. Resolute. +1.
Yes. So now the hesitating enemy will not attack the character this turn.
All right. So a bit of crowd control happening between what you've got. Oh, go ahead.
So I had a movement action. That was a free action. So can I attack it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Well, your movement action was moving up to it, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
You'd
So I
have
could
to.
flank it.
You'd have to draw your weapon.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So
Okay.
that'd be your second action.
Okay.
Cool. Remind me when Ryan gets back. We have to do the corruption thing. To roll for that.
Let's do it. I'm just checking on cats.
Oh, yep.
I've got chaos machines over here.
So roll a 1d4 for the bend will.
Okay. 1d4. Oh, hang on. Do-si-do.
So 2 temporary corruption.
And I think it's not on my character sheet, but I think with my class, I think I start with some permanent corruption, right?
That
We'll talk about it later.
sounds right. It might have been from when you initially, because you didn't take a tradition, right?
No, yeah, I'm an independent.
That's why. So I think you have maybe
I have
one. You probably have
one or
one
two,
permanent. Oh yeah,
I'll
you
take
took
one
you
now.
took 2 power, so you'd have 2 corruption.
Okay, cool. I will add that now.
And then it is your turn. So I was just reading about concentration.
Right, because it says control is considered active until the mystic breaks concentration or fails a resolute test. Now I don't know what initiates a resolute test and what breaks concentration.
I believe, because this is an active, ongoing effect, right?
Yeah.
I think you have to do the resolute test again.
Okay.
Maintain that every turn. At least that's the way I'm going to rule it.
And what was the modifier?
I want to say it was -3.
-3.
Yep, -3.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, fail. He's gonna eat me.
All right. So all that means this wasn't your action or anything. It was just maintaining that active effect from last round.
Mhm.
So you could. It's a new turn. You could try to employ that again to like bring that back to be active, or you could try something else.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. I've got quite a bit more room before I get some permanent corruption here, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna make another resolute test to try to gain control of him.
Okay. Just so I'm being clear about kind of like what's happening in the theater of the mind, just so you realize you got 2 guys on you currently. The bigger guy
Yep.
is like some 30 feet away from you.
Oh, okay. I thought I moved up to him.
Oh, okay. Maybe you did. So, but
Yeah, because
yeah.
I put my hand on his head. So
Okay, that's good. Then
So I'm
you're
kind of
helping
picturing
me. You're
them
helping me
kind of-
understand what's happening.
yeah, I'm kind of picturing them sort of. They came around behind the other guys and are kind of behind me attacking. I dodged him, and he's sort of in front of me, and I maybe got my hand on his head or whatever.
Perfect. Yep. So then, yeah, another resolute test, -3.
Okay, let's do this. Come on, Deeses. We love them Deeses to pieces. Oh no,
All right.
we don't like that.
Doesn't take hold. Roll a d4 for your temporary corruption.
Yeah. And then that's my action, right?
That was your action.
Yeah. But I get some movement. I can try to run away, maybe. I don't know. 3. Okay, get 3 more. Okay. Oh, wait, hang on. That's total of. Yeah. Okay, I probably can't use no more powers. All right, so there's that.
How much temporary corruption do you have currently?
Well, including the 2 permanent, I have 7, and that's my threshold.
Oh, gotcha. So, I believe you might get a permanent corruption from that.
Oh, okay. I thought it was once you exceeded it, but okay, that's cool. I'll take it.
Let me just look that up. This is still our learning game, so those of you that are watching, this kind of
No, but it makes sense because my current and my threshold turned blue when it changed. So I'm betting you're right.
Let's see.
I'm betting when you meet your threshold, you get a permanent. I'm just a corruptible baby boy.
Corruption starts at 0 and grows as the character is tainted. The character is technically transformed into an abomination when its corruption value exceeds its resolute value. Yet long before that, the character starts to show physical signs of growing taint in the form of stigmas. Temporary corruption is the momentary expression of the world's reluctance to be subdued and controlled. It fades away by itself at the end of a scene, but is still dangerous since it can push a character's total corruption over its corruption threshold, blight marked, or past double its corruption threshold, turning the character into a blight beast. Okay.
So, did I hear you say past the threshold? 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm at threshold. There's lurkers at the gate, but
This is like one of those math problems where it's nice if they give an example so you
Right.
can kind of see, like, so and so had this and then they did this. Now they're a blight beast.
right. Now they have a third arm.
Mm-hmm.
I think it gives a level. So then you would just add. Well, how about this? Try adding just another point of temporary and see if the Foundry module like automatically does it or something.
So I saw on 176 it says the character counts as blight marked to receive a permanent stigma, table 24, and then the stigma disappears if the permanent corruption is reduced to below the corruption threshold again. So it looks like a stigma.
So technically speaking, I would gain, if I'm understanding correctly. So since I've hit my threshold, which is 7, I would gain this stigma until the
Yeah.
end of the scene, at which time I lose my temporary, and then it's gone. Or
The stigma vanishes after a day.
and do I gain permanent or no?
I believe you do, but I think the stigmas are something more cosmetic versus a game mechanic thing.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, it didn't when I added the other temporary, it didn't do anything. It just added another point. So the way that the mechanic would work now would be I would add 1 point of permanent and then I would go down to 0 temporary, or you would leave it on there.
I would leave your temporary will stay until the end of the scene,
Uh-huh.
but you'll
Gotcha.
you'll also get a permanent.
Permanent one. Okay. I'm understanding. Slowly.
Boy, it really makes you selective to use those powers,
Of
huh?
course. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
that's the part that I didn't understand. I think I thought I had a little more leeway, I thought I was pushing it to the edge, but I pushed it over the edge, which is fine. That's what these independent mystics do. So playing with fire, baby.
Walk in the razor's edge.
Yeah.
And we'll say we'll say you do get like kind of like a temporary stigma associated with that, and just in that your eyes kind of have a little bit of a glitter that could be seen in the dark,
Pride month.
almost
I
like
love
an aura around them.
I'm going to the parade right after this with my glitter eyes.
All right, so I think that's everything for Gnosis. Let's go to Fetch.
Gnosis is about to get eaten. He's not gonna have to worry about his permanent corruption.
You're still up in the face of the big fella, aren't you? Well, Fetch should use movement to charge towards that, seeing both Temper and Gnosis are up against that big thing and a couple of wolves, so charge up there, and then just strike at one with his dagger. Did neither of the small ones hit Gnosis before, did they? Okay, yeah, he'll be straight into the side of the big fella.
All right, the big one. Let's just see. The accurate test versus. It's a -5.
Oh, this is not going to go well. Does that take 5 off the 10 or add 5 to it?
It should take 5 off of the target.
Okay.
So
that's a fail.
yeah, so if you're accurate, it looks like your
Cool.
accurate's 11, so then you would have needed like a 6 or less.
Sweet.
All right, so then the wolves will go. The 2 are still harrying the pathfinders, and they're. It looks like they are holding their own against those 2 wolves. So I think just to like simplify our combat, you can kind of assume like they're managing okay. And so if you focus on this big guy and these other 2, like that seems to be kind of like the division of labor. That'll just make like the combat just a little bit easier, I think. So the 2 smaller ones, we'll start with them. One of them is going to turn around and try to attack Jomilo. So do a defense test with a -3.
Now it says with my shield fighter, I get a +2 defense.
Okay.
So would that do I hit my shield and then just put -1?
I'm not sure because I don't know how the founder.
Yeah, let me,
I'm
yeah, I
better,
wonder if
better
you-
at
if you-
I could tell you like just add the whatever to your defense test and roll a d20,
Right.
but I don't know really how the
let me see.
factors.
It might do it automatically, yeah.
Does that math
So I
for
I
you?
hit on my shield. Was that the right thing? I think so.
Okay, so basically your character for defense uses persuasive is what it looks like, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so your persuasive is 15.
Yep.
What armor are you wearing?
Medium armor.
So your medium armor probably has an impending value.
Yeah, it protects 1d8.
Okay. But then it also probably has a penalty against the defense, which is the impending value. Let's just look this up quick. Equipment. All right, equipment, armor.
Oh, yeah, -3. Impeding -3.
So it'd be 15 would be then 12, but then how much from the shield?
+2.
So 14.
But I rolled a 16 anyway.
Okay. So he will hit. So you
now
can.
I gotta roll. Yeah.
Oh. It would be like your armor value for the protection. To try to mitigate damage would be the next roll.
Did it roll a 1d6? No.
I don't think so. It looked like a 20.
Did not. Yeah, it looked like it. Yeah, okay. So I guess that's the one I should have rolled for defense. All right. I'll roll a d6.
So
3.
3. And his attack does 3. So you don't take any damage. Your armor holds up.
All right. So now I know defense, you gotta hit armor.
The other wolf is going to attack Gnosis. So give me a defense test -3.
Oh.
Okay, so yours is actually
Fail.
rolling the protection right away. So yours is protection 3. So that's how much damage it does. Your armor holds up. You don't take any damage from that. The big
Woo.
one is
Witch down for the win.
the big one is going to attack Mick. So you can do a defense test. -5. Or wait, sorry. -1. Okay, bites. Protection 1. So takes 1 point of damage off this. His bite does 4, so you'll take 3 points of toughness.
So it's got current 0, so I just put 3 there, right?
Let me open up a character sheet.
And then when I hit threshold 5, I take an injury or whatever.
The threshold for toughness is like in a single hit. Like if a single hit hits you for 5 or more damage, then you get like staggered.
Okay.
So if you get hit for that, I believe it's either you fall prone or the creature can take a second attack on you. I think you get to decide, like the victim of the attack gets to choose which one they want.
And I think it automatically rolled the protection because I failed. I think if it had have passed, then it wouldn't have rolled protection.
That makes sense. Cool. So that was the big one. I think we're all squared up with the Jakars and the big wolf. So now it is Temper's turn.
Okay, I'm going to use a free action and do my berserker thing because I am now in a murderous frenzy because this big guy hurt my friend. So it seems like the enemies and us are all kind of in the same cluster now, right? Like, for the
Yeah,
most part.
yeah, it's a pretty messy kind of like pretty close proximity kind of thing.
Okay.
I think you and Fetch have a flanking position on the big one.
Okay.
And then Jomilo and Gnosis have flanking on one of the smaller ones.
All right. Well, that is a free action. So then as my action, I will swing my sword at the big guy. I don't think it gives me any advantage on that. It just gives extra damage. So
you'll be able to do attack with -5.
Okay. -5. Ah, I failed.
Let's see. Okay, result margin -5. Okay. You get a little bit of a bonus because of the flanking, but it's not enough to make up for that.
Right. Oh, yeah, because it would have been like a total of a -3. Oh my
-3,
gosh.
yeah.
That would have been a really good hit because I would have had my robust extra damage, my berserker damage, and the flanking damage.
Yep.
Sorry, guys. So that's all I got.
We're all kind of whiffing on the big guy.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but I thought because I can do all that extra damage, it made sense to try to go for him.
Jomilo.
I just realized, Alex, that wolf should not have gone after me since I passed the dominate test.
Oh yeah, you're right. We'll put it on this next round.
Cool. All right. So I'm gonna go after him. +1, right? No.
You're gonna do an attack. You're flanking.
Yeah.
His defense is -5, so with the flanking, we'll call it a -3. So
Okay.
success deals 2 damage. Still seems like doesn't do a lot of damage to it. Not quite high enough, maybe. All right. So that'll bring us up to Gnosis's turn.
Okay. Well, can't do any more magic, I don't think. So I think I'm going to have to. Oh, I thought I had a knife somewhere. I do. I have a dagger. So I will pull the dagger and then I will try to stab it into this big guy's head.
Sounds good. The defense test would be -5, but you've got. Oh, are you going after the big one? I think with enough. I think you've got enough characters around it that you can have a flanking on the big one too. So -3 to your attack, which is probably accurate.
Why? Hang on. I think. Why is it not letting me click on this dagger?
If you click on where it says attack, like accurate, it'll attack using the accurate.
You might have to
Use a-
equip it.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's true.
And that might be the case. Hang on. Dagger. Do I equip it? Oh my god, this shouldn't be so hard. What am I doing wrong? I'm doing wrong. How do you Oh, okay, there we go. Now it's probably equipped. Yes, okay, sorry about that, guys. You're dealing with an old man. Okay, what was the modifier again?
-3.
Okay.
Oh,
Come on.
wow. Of course, when we're not
So
playing
close.
D&D.
All the 20s, yeah.
Yeah.
So that one misses the thing.
Loudy.
Trying to find a
Yeah,
fleshy
start
patch
attacking
to
something else.
pierce through the flesh. It just like doesn't bear down into it. Fetch.
Yeah, just gonna repeat the same action. Just gonna try to get a dagger into this big fella. What was the modifier? Sorry.
-3.
-3. Oh,
Oh, so close.
We were so
Damn.
close.
This thing is just moving like kind of rapidly and wildly at this point, and it's just getting to be hard to kind of swing and get like. You've realized like it's got like a very thick hide, and so your strike has to be like a home run swing to even be able to pierce it. So, yeah, bit of a challenge. So one of the smaller wolves has to pass its turn because of Jomilo's ability. The other one is going to attempt to attack Gnosis. So give me a defense test.
sorry. Can I just? I want to
Oh, sure.
disengage and try to get over and pick up my axe
Okay,
if I can.
so
Or get over to where it is anyway.
there isn't really
I
like
have-
a disengage action, but do you have like an ability that allows you to avoid? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I've got. I can use. I can roll against my quick to avoid three
Okay.
attacks.
Perfect.
So just flat roll.
I think so. If I remember reading about that ability, but I'm not remembering if it's modified
it's
by
acrobatics.
anything.
It doesn't say anything. It just says
Okay.
the character may roll against quick to avoid free attacks from enemies in melee combat, either when trying to slip past or attempt to withdraw from melee.
Okay. Yeah.
Should,
just do a
should
quick.
it fail, I get to choose whether I stay in place or move away and take the free attack.
Gotcha. Yeah. Just do a straight quick.
No, failed. I will stay in place then. My axe can stay off of the snowdrift.
Sounds good.
Sorry.
No, that's good. So the one is going to attack Gnosis, one of the smaller beasts. To make a defense test -3. And you succeed, so that one misses.
Now they gotta kiss me.
It would be a lick. It would be a doggy kiss. The larger wolf is kind of maneuvering around. It maybe notices that I think it's going to try to pounce on. It's going to try to go for Gnosis also. Give me another defense test. This one is a -1. Fail, but protection 1. You end up taking 3 points of toughness damage. What is your toughness threshold?
It's 3.
It is 3. Okay.
Mhm.
So this thing. So you get to choose. Do you want to be knocked prone, or do you want to allow it to take a second attack?
I'll let it take a second attack.
Okay. Do another defense test. -1. And that one you dodge. All right. That is going to bring us to Temper.
I gotta go for him again. I'm gonna berserker, attack again with my sword. But if I can be flanking, I'm gonna move so I'm flanking.
Yeah, you can take the minus, or I'll factor it in here. So you're attacking the big one. Its defense is normally -5. You can do a -3.
Okay. Let me I'll type all this in and hopefully it makes a difference. Oh, okay. There we go.
All right, so this is the big damage. So it's 17
Yeah.
damage. Let's see, its armor is 2. So 15 points of damage.
My lord.
Yeah.
I'll let you narrate it, because that's going to be the kill.
Awesome. Well, he's going after Gnosis. He's hit my friend Fetch. So I'm just taking that sword and I'll jab it right in that back, right where the neck, at the head and the neck kind of combine, and sever the spinal cord right there. That's what I'm going to do.
Awesome. So as you do that, you can hear the crunch of your weapon through this massive spinal cord on this thing. It rips right through its vital organs and everything like that, and it lets out this howl that pierces the air. You can see the 2 pathfinders behind you have just done the final kills on their wolves. This larger one, as it lets out this piercing howl, you see the 2 smaller ones kind of look back, and their hair stands on end as they listen to this howl, and they almost instantly flee away, like deeper into the woods. But the creature that you have just felled starts to almost instantly shapeshift. And it goes from being this 10-foot tall bestial creature into this very slender figure. With almost like kind of an alien face, pointy ears. And a simple wool coat. No weapons, no equipment, no bag, but just a... like I said, like an almost like an alien-looking thing that, to your eyes, you've heard about elves, but it looks like what you've heard elves to look like. And she, very young-looking, wears a nicely decorated bracelet around her left arm. But she bears like this, like a similar wound in her back to like the piercing one that you just dealt it with the sword. And there's this blood that stains the snow. The group kind of gathers round. The two pathfinders are, you can see they're kind of bandaging up their wounds from the bite marks that they've incurred. They're gathering around to look at this body.
The hell is that thing?
It's an elf, but what's an elf doing all the way down here?
You think an elf would be running with Mal Rogan?
With an abomination? Probably not, but so I'll take a look, and like she's dead. There's no way to.
Oh yeah, there's like the amount of
There's
blood
no-
loss that you
Yeah.
are seeing, she's not moving, she's not breathing. Like it was like an instant kill. Any of you who want,
None of the little ones died, did they?
two of them did. The Pathfinders
And
both
they didn't.
killed two.
They didn't turn into elf toddlers or anything.
No, those are
They're just dead wolves.
yeah. They're the Pathfinders would say those are Jakars. They're native.
Really?
Never seen anything like that though. That large wolf must be a shapeshifter.
It was controlling these other Jakars. Maybe I don't know. Should we
If it's
Should
a
we take the
shapeshifter,
body
it'd be
with
a
us?
Powerful one.
what was that, Papa Gnosis?
If it's a shapeshifter, to be able to maintain that form and bend the will of those creatures, it would have to be very powerful.
Any of you that would
At
like
least it's
to,
dead.
you could make a vigilant test +3. Like anybody can. You could all make a roll and see if you get anything. So Temper, Jomilo. Interestingly enough, Gnosis is the one that doesn't see this. But the two Pathfinders are definitely trembling a bit, and they're like trading anxious looks at one another. And pretty soon, they're just like We got to get back to the camp.
Jomilo's right though. We
Yeah.
should bring the body back. Elin is very smart. She may know some
Mhm.
things.
Yes, I agree. Let's go. Let's bring her back.
She's little and light. I can carry her.
Sounds good to me.
I think on the way back, just I'm going to walk up with the pathfinders and just kind of like put my hands on their back, just remind them I've got your back.
And I see Papa Gnosis do that, and I take him to the side, and these two are looking kind of anxious. Just be careful.
I will.
Keep your glittering eyes wide open.
Oh, I will.
So the group is getting the body prepared to head back to camp. Elin, you've been in the camp yourself, and things haven't been quiet there either. We won't go through like a whole combat just because it would be a lot of NPCs just battling these wolves, but
Yeah.
there were some wolves that attacked, and let me just switch the scene because I need to look at the NPCs to know who I'm talking about a little bit. So Gustav and Wes, Balloon and Lestra were probably the principal characters that were involved with defending the camp against. We'll say there were 5 of the wolves, just the regular sized wolves. You didn't have like a larger one in the mix, at least that was noticeable or obvious. In the battle that occurred, Gustav incurred a mortal wound that left him dead. It was something that was untreatable by you.
Okay.
But
He was the one watching Keller.
fortunately, Keller was very happy to be tied up and in the middle of the camp, not asked to defend against anything, so he hasn't gone far, fortunately. But we're going to say that Wes also had a pretty nasty wound, but if you can successfully pull off your lay on hands, you might be able to keep him alive.
All right. So I think then I would probably be in the process of trying to do that as the rest of the crew is walking in, also worse for the wear.
Yeah, that's perfect. Why don't you give us a resolute test to see how it goes?
All right.
And so you succeed. So you manage to patch up and heal his wounds before he expires. He doesn't bleed out too much. But as Elin is doing this, the rest of the group is making their way back. You can clearly see that there are a number of dead Jakars around the camp. And it's obvious that there was a battle that took place here. And you see Elin mending one of the mercenaries. I think Argosto, the caravan owner, runs out and he says, "Thank goodness that you've made it back. What the hell is that?" He points to the elf.
I was going to ask Elin. She's very smart. She knows things.
I'm sorry, what? And I'm kind of distracted by Wes and hear this and look over and see her carrying the body of this elf. And what?
I'll plop it at your feet. She was a big wolf. And when she died, she turned into this.
Oh. Well, what is she doing here?
That's what
And I'm just kind of.
Nothing now. She's dead.
Oh well, yes.
Yeah, Argosto is like, just piggybacks off of that sentiment. What the hell is an elf doing all the way out here in the mountains?
And I think I'll be looking around to see if I see Lestra, because immediately I'm like, oh, this is going to be a hard one to explain.
Yeah, Lestra is probably, kind of bandaging up herself from maybe like a glancing bite from one of the wolves. But like she's right there, like looking down at the elf.
If Lestra's there, then Papa Gnosis is nowhere near it. He's out of her gaze, far out of her gaze.
And she just says, an elf would not attack us unless they had a good reason to do so. So we must ask ourselves, who or what was it after?
Like a sun. Oh, I'm not there. Damn it.
We were taking wood. Is that bad?
Perhaps if we were closer to Davokar, that may be, but not all the way out here. They are very, very, very far away from home. And to merit such a journey, all the way out here in the mountains, there would have to be a proper explanation. Look.
It didn't come out just to happen to find us in the woods. Like a long journey just to run into us in the woods. We're not the target, right?
She looks over at the two barbarians. You could just tell. She doesn't say anything, but you can tell that she's got a hypothesis.
We're gonna have to kill this lady.
If I see, if Jomilo sees her do that, he'll move closer to them and signal over to who'd be the closest to me. Would it be signal over to Fetch and just with his eyes say, follow me.
Yep. Follow along.
So as people start to filter out, Elin's going to bend over and just try to get a closer look and just see if she can figure out anything about this elf.
Sure. Give me maybe a cunning test. All the nat 20s.
Good gracious, no.
She has a pretty bracelet.
Yeah, very pretty.
Mm-hmm. I maybe am too distracting. Sorry. You can't pass your cunning test when you're being distracted.
I would say, Temper, you could do a cunning test also.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
You never know. You never know. I mean,
so I succeed with the 2. Yay!
Bracelet comment really set things off,
I like pretty things.
it is very decorative, but there is an elven symbol that is on the bracelet, which demarks that this elf is the defender of the Iron Pact, which probably you would know that there is a reason why the humans don't go into the woods is because the elves defend it very fiercely, and there's a certain group of elves that are in charge of protecting it, and those are the defenders of the Iron Pact that says that the humans must never step foot in the woods. So
Somebody went in the woods. She's after them. I I think that's what happened, Elin.
I mean, I've heard stories of that happening before, that they would tell us, when we were children, that they would come for you. So I could see it, but who this far down?
Keller wants to go in the woods. I bet it's him.
That's a good theory. Eh. Or what about? Well, let's stick with Keller for now. Let's go
Yeah.
talk to Keller.
Oh, talk? Okay.
So, in the midst of all of this happening, Argosto is just ordering everybody, like, we're moving now. And you could see Bartolom looks haggard. Like, he still, like, just looks very weary, but he's got the stone out. It doesn't look like he's like, intently channeling it the way that he was to defend yourselves against the snowstorm, but he is up and out with the stone. And like everybody is just packing things up. It seems like there's a degree of urgency to get the caravan moving. Argosto is just yelling things about, we've got bandits, now Jakars, and now elves. This is got to be one of the wildest stories of a journey through the Titans. That, well, we'll have some stories to entertain people in the bar halls in Ambria. You can rest assured of that.
What are Balloon and Ludo doing?
They're helping with like packing things up. Just getting the wagons ready, getting the animals loaded up.
Would say
Because
They're
that
sticking
if
together.
I heard
Go
that
ahead.
conversation between Elin and Temper, I would start to think, if they said, that they're looking for people that might have gone into Davakar. I mean, those two would probably be the number one suspects.
Maybe some scouts did some scouting in a place they shouldn't have been scouting.
Exactly.
Yeah, kind of on that note,
Just
I
sort
think
of
if
side
they're
up at us, the two fellas, if they're all right.
if they're
Sorry,
milling
go.
about, I'll probably try to talk to them. Because I noticed they're like, their worry or whatever with that battle, and then
Mhm.
kind of when I was reassuring them on the walk back, and I'll kind of try to discreetly just be like, is there anything we need to know? Is there any, and I'll kind of let them know, like, there's a little bit of a talk in the camp, and there's eyes on you.
Okay.
I want to have your back, but there's eyes on you.
So just at this point, I think the caravan is moving forward on the road. It's still morning, so you're probably having this conversation with them. They'll draw back from the wagons for a little bit of time as you're talking. Give me a persuasive test.
Is there a modifier?
I'll say no modifier on this, just because you've already kind of got a bit of relationship.
I am
going.
rolling
Okay.
so good tonight.
Oh my goodness. It's hard when your ideas are so good, but your rolls are not.
Right. Man,
They're keeping an eye on Lestra, and they say, "Not now. We'll talk later." Meanwhile,
and I'll just maybe hint to them, if something bad were to happen to Lestra on the road, that wouldn't be so bad, maybe.
and you can see that they don't want to say anything more about that, but they're not like against that idea. It's probably the feeling that you get. So they just kind of like nod at you. You probably get the sense they're not going to instigate anything, but maybe you'd have backup if something happened to her. But Lestra is over by Elin currently, so she starts walking alongside you, Elin, and she says, You can see corruption. Yes?
Yes.
You should check on them.
Them.
The two pathfinders. It could only be if it's certainly not me. It isn't you, is it?
No. No.
Look, they've got signs. Look at that one. Balloon. All of
All
those,
right.
he's got bandages all over his body. They were there before
Well,
this attack.
it's a rough line of work. He's going out, meeting animals, creatures. It's not too surprising, right?
Have you heard him say that he's had any scuffles with any creatures in the past week?
Well, would he? Would he come back and announce, a wild hog? I don't know. But the other, so Balloon and
Ludo?
Ludo, what's your suspicions with him?
It's just a hunch. But they are barbarians, yes? They've spent a lot of time around the forest. It is only natural that they might be the ones that have made some offense against the elves.
I mean, look, up north, people, they're the stories that you hear, you have to be insanely greedy to risk it, right? What did these guys get out of it? They're back here running this wagon trail, like.
Let me try to explain this to you another way. I know that we are not going to see eye to eye on mysticism or religion, but if they carry corruption, they are a harm to themselves as much as they are a harm to us.
Oh.
Might be able to get them help.
This is my question. What do you propose doing if you discover that they are corrupted? What's your plan for them?
I am heading north to reach the monastery where the Twilight Friars stay. There are healers there that specialize in eliminating corruption. We might be able to help them.
I've heard stories about that. Bit like sending your dog to the farm. Yes, there are healers. They'll cure your corruption, yet no one ever seems to come back.
Well, until we know whether they are sick, there's no point debating that point.
Loath as I am to admit it, I do think you're right that someone in this camp, at least, is the target of this. I don't know that it was those two, but.
Well, it seems to me you're the best equipped to find out.
I am. But I remind you that using the ability does corrupt me too. It's not infinite. I can't just scan each one of you.
That's why I'm asking you to look at the most suspicious one. You will see. I mean, certainly none of you have been in the woods.
No, not this lot. Oh, well. What about Keller?
I mean, maybe, but he says that he was in the Ambrian or he was in the army. I don't think he's been past the Titans.
Yeah, but he's hooked up with those, Mal, whatever his name is. Like,
I can't rule it out, but he just seems like a useful idiot to those bandits. I don't think he's been that far. Put him on the list.
all right. All right. All right. I'm going. I'm shaking my head, and I'm trying to think who I can trust with this suspicion. I think I'm gonna look over and see Temper and be like, oh no. but Keller, and I look. I'm like, no, let's go talk to Keller, and I'm proposing just to talk, just to feel him out a little bit before I commit to anything. Let's go find Temper.
Okay. I now that Gustav is dead, I better get Keller back. So he doesn't run away.
Right.
So as you're walking, is he tied back up to you again?
If I can go over by him, yeah. Like if he's tied up and I can just like, yeah. Oh, you're lucky the elves didn't get you. I'll say to him as I, get my little handcuff back on.
Elves? Like more than one?
Well, probably.
Maybe you should have just left me for dead.
Have you had much interaction with elves in the past there, Keller?
No.
Hmm.
I think this one really wanted to get you.
You think it wants me?
I think so.
Why?
You know why.
I can't imagine that I do. Why? Why do you torment me? I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry.
Tell it to the elves.
Look. Maybe you being the fact that you were in this gang with Malrogan, maybe, he's the target and you're just collateral. I don't know. Any dealings up north?
Up north? No. Not yet.
It's a preemptive elf. It knows.
Do you think that these elves are coming because of some premonition of the future?
You better change your ways.
That also means that they think that I could be successful.
And dead.
There. All right, I commit to not. I will change my ways. I will give up on my plans of searching the forest. Maybe become a farmer. I don't know. Yeah, do you think... Is that all I have to do?
I think so. Right? Elin's smart. She knows things.
Yeah. I'm sure that you've saved your soul there. All right, I'm gonna leave you to discuss that. Yeah, and I'm gonna kind of wander over and see if I can find just anyone else at this point. Like I feel pretty comfortable not having to scan poor Keller. Then like he's just a dumbass. All right, so who's next?
So at this point, we'll say you guys have been on the road for hour and a half or so. The two pathfinders are sticking together alongside one of the wagons. Bartolom's wagon is up in the lead. He's sitting. He's got a driver, and he sits kind of shotgun with him with the stone. It seems to be doing a decent enough job clearing the snow and things off of the road and allowing you to move forward at just a bit of a slower pace than you're used to. Of course, Leska is kind of opposite where the two brothers are. Or the sorry, not the two brothers, the two pathfinders. And she's just keeping. It is not subtle. They know that she is watching them, but she doesn't make any overt moves. Anything that anybody wishes. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to wander up next to Jomilo and if our visitor was after our two friends over there, we're good, right? The visitor's dead. If there was more than one, both of them would have come. Well, yeah.
Well, there's always the chance that if this one didn't return, that maybe who knows how many would have realized something's wrong and maybe heading down this way.
We should have plenty of time before that happens, though, right? You'd think.
Hope so. I don't know much about elves. I don't know how they deal with, what kind of magic they can do with weather, even if they can do anything with it. But
so they may not move like us, I suppose. Okay.
Possible. It's possible, but killing one out here, I don't know. Feel good about this. They're still going to come after us. That's what I think. And if they're going to come after this, and if it's these two fools, then we just give them. Just hand them over. That's it. We'll be on our way.
You don't think we need them to get through the pass?
No, I don't. Well, if it's not snowing anymore, and I think we have enough people here. I think we have some skilled people here that can do some pathfinding.
What if
I don't know.
the person who comes for them is the one over there?
That Lestra, that's who you.
Yeah,
that's another one. Her and the other black cloaks. You can't trust anybody here. Now that I think about it,
it's what it feels like, right?
God, where's Papa Gnosis? Where is he? Hey, and Jomilo looks around for Papa Gnosis.
I think you're muted on Discord.
Oh, whoops. Yeah. I think Papa Gnosis would be trying to find some sort of discreet way outside of Lestra's eyes to have a, mystic powers user conversation with Elin. And, basically propose to her, like, look, everybody knows that these guys went to Davokar, right? Like, we know it. Everybody knows it. But we have more akin with them than we do with Lestra. And Lestra would throw our ass down the river with a moment's notice. So I propose not giving them up and, maybe throwing our friend, our idiot friend, down the river. Yeah. Maybe just throw him down the river. He was willing to sacrifice us. I say we sacrifice him. These pathfinders have done nothing but help protect us. And I'm just not comfortable with giving them to a black cloak. And I would hope that you're not either.
No, she asked me if I would read them, and her off, but I'm not helping her. I haven't. And she told me. Did you know what she told me? She told
I
me.
can only imagine.
Oh, she told me that she was going to take them to her special little twilight laboratory to heal them of their corruption, and she just wanted what's best for them.
Oh yeah,
And
the one that nobody ever comes back from.
it's what I told her actually openly, and she changed the subject. But yeah, I'm not doing her bidding. However, look, I do worry that this elf that came isn't the only one. That's otherwise I am on your side completely. Pillar, and it's a great plan. But what if we send Keller off down the river and then another elf or two comes, our way?
I would say, based on the fact that we don't know, that we could make a decision then. These pathfinders have done more and will do more to protect us on this road than Lestra ever will.
Oh. No, she's doing nothing to protect us. She's doing it to protect herself. She's here stone or something. I'm still trying to figure it out. But no, she wouldn't lift a finger to protect any of us. She wouldn't lift a finger to, well, anyway.
So if there are more elves coming, I would much rather have Ludo and I forget the other one's name now with us than Lestra. Like, what is she going to do to them? She's going to send them off, and we're going to be without our best protection other than our small crew. We need everybody that we can trust, and I'm telling you, I've looked into their eyes. I've shared a drink with them. They might be out for themselves in this world just like we are, but we can trust them, and they're not going to stab us in the back. Not like Lestra.
I agree.
So
I agree.
you're free to make any decision. This is
Yeah.
your
No,
gambit.
hi.
But I just wanted to say that. Say my piece about it.
Hi, I appreciate it, and I'm with you. I mean, Lestra is a snake, and I'm sure she would turn on any of us in a second, without question. Every single one of us here is an abomination in her eyes. And no love.
And we're next on her target list.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna go see if I can get an idea from the others if they've pieced anything together that could be useful. But stay close; it might get real.
I will, and then I'll fade into the hedges like Homer Simpson.
So, you all are kind of, in some ways, maybe playing a game of telephone a little bit. Like, you're kind of gathering and like influencing each other on like different ideas about how you might navigate this social issue that is brewing within the camp. But it's about 1 or just after noon, and you have a different problem because the skies overhead very rapidly turn dark. The winds pick up and the snow starts falling again. And this is somewhat unusual.
Yeah, I was about to say, is this unnaturally so? Like unnaturally quickly that it would.
It feels so. There's very little warning of this happening. The skies were relatively clear, a couple of clouds in the sky and everything, but certainly not dark and storm clouds. This just manifests itself. Argosto almost immediately orders the wagons to form a corral again, and he says, "We're hunkering down. We need to park. We need to take shelter. We can't continue to move with that accumulation again."
Jomilo looks over to Fetch. Told you, these are the elves. These are the elves. It's not. This is not natural. Keep your eyes open.
I have a quick in-game question about the temporary corruption. Is the last scene over and now the
Yes.
temporary corruption? Okay.
Correct. Yep. Your temporary is gone.
Zang.
On the back of that, what about Toughness.
Toughness does not reset in that way. I think you get a number of toughness back at the end of a night of rest. Which potentially we should just look up, because it seems like the camp might be circling up for such a purpose right now.
Or to get eaten by elves, you know.
I mean, that could happen too.
They only like children, so I think we're okay.
Healing wounds. Natural healing happens at a rate of 1 toughness per day.
So my medicus, that's once per day, right?
I believe so. Once per character per day, maybe?
Yeah, once per patient and day. Well, I will use that on myself over the course of the day, roll a d4. I'm not going to use the herbal cure. I'll just roll a d4.
Yeah, sounds good. You were down, what, 3 points?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a twit with this. How do I roll? Just a d4?
You could do / roll space 1d4.
Is 1 point.
The big one.
Better than none, which is impossible, but still.
Still better.
Thank you.
So the wagons start to circle up. And pretty soon, you could see, just like, very similar to like the night before, is just a blanket of white to the sides of the camp and then up above your little spherical bubble that keeps you warm. Bartolom, you can see now he's once again going back to actively, like, he's not just relying on the passive nature of it, but he is channeling it again, and you can just see the strain on him. And I think maybe he kind of calls out. He's just like, "What the hell? This storm! This."
Well, maybe someone has a snowstone.
Don't be ridiculous!
Oh, sorry. I thought it made sense, but sorry.
Does make sense. He's just a pretentious. No, it clearly this is magical, though. I'm like yelling about the swirl. You admit this is not a natural storm, right?
Bartolom says, "There's no way. There's no." He's like a little bit panicked, maybe, because he's going back to.
Just focus on this, on doing your job. We'll figure this out.
You actually could make a resolute test, Elin. And even though you're not actively using your witch sight ability, you can tell that this is a conjured storm just because of the perfect nature of how the snow is falling around you. And you actually very faintly, because you're sensitive to the arcane, you can hear that there is a voice that is singing on the air. No one else can hear this, but you can.
Oh no. All right. I'm gonna really quickly look around for Gnosis because I'm concerned that this is something that we need to address, that our fears are coming true and the elves have sent another round towards us. So
Looks that way, doesn't it? But we don't know for sure. And I suggest that we talk to them. We talk to the pathfinders. Let's get their take. Let's see what they're thinking, and let's just ask them straight up what happened. Why are they after you? Because maybe they do have something that they want. Maybe there is some bargaining chip here. We don't know.
Elin,
All right.
as this is being talked out, you continue to hear this singing, but then it stops and it seems to speak directly to you. And there is this foreign accent, like maybe strange, like it almost feels, maybe the cadence of the words, it just feels otherworldly. But you hear a male voice say, "We want the ones you call Balloon and Ludo. They have violated the treaties. They have tunneled too deep into the soils of old Davokar. They are blight-stricken, and they must be purged. Their blood must be spilled. Make the right decision, and it will only be their blood. If you wish to defend them, yours will form a union in the river that will be created from the flow. We will return at sundown. You will need to make your decision by then."
Hey. So, I have some demands, a list of demands that I was given. Basically, we give them up or they come and kill us all. By sundown. We need to make the decision. And yes, it is the elves, and yes, it was because they burrowed in Davin. I mean, it's all what we thought. But it's us or them. And they said we'd be in a union and our blood would spill together if we fought with them.
I say we talk to them. We ask them to leave outside of the eyes of the Black Cloak. We let them know that the elves are onto them. We let them know the deal, and unfortunately, we're going to have to part ways with them. But let's give them the opportunity to get ahead of it and to get ahead of Lestra.
Sure. All right, let's go.
All right.
We're going to march over there. Like, this is going to suck.
They're both kind of on the perimeter of the camp again, like getting ready to do their rounds and everything as the wagons have circled up and everything. So just to get a sense of this, Gnosis, is it just you that's going out there to talk to them?
I think so. Or it's up to you. What do you think?
I'll stand back a little bit to see how this conversation's going and kind of try to fill in the other members of the party about what the terms we've just heard were.
Yeah, I think that's good. Also, I don't want them to spook them since they seem to trust me, you know. And I think I'm going to approach them and I'm going to say, hey, guys, let's pull out that flask because we got to have a talk.
I say, okay. Seems like they're both already, like you keyed them up to there'd be a difficult conversation at some point in the day, so they both take healthy pulls of it and then hand it to you.
I'll take the same healthy pull, and I'll let them know, like I think we know that Lestra is onto you, but unfortunately what I've just gotten word of is that the elves are onto you as well.
Damn it.
And as much as I want to have your back and I want to help protect you, they have told us that this whole camp will die with you if we protect you. So I can't give up all those lives for you, but I do want to give you guys the opportunity to do what you can, to run, to get out of here, to stay out of the Black Cloak's gaze, to stay out of the Elves' gaze if you can.
If we depart the camp, we're dead. You see this storm, we're dead. Look, it's not. We didn't do anything. It wasn't us.
They say that you burrowed into.
Okay. It's true. We traveled into Davokar. Balloon and I. We joined up with a group at Thistlehold. They're going to venture into the woods. We ventured in to the darker parts of the forest, and we went into a small tomb. Looked like we had thought it was a burial place for one of our tribesmen, an old folk hero. Long dead. There was jewelry, there was gold. But the only thing that the leader of the band that we were together with wanted was this crown that had merged with the cranium of the old dead interned warrior there. It was like this copper object. It was like melded in with the bone somehow. I don't know what it was, but that was what he wanted. So we collected it. We were able to keep all of the gold, all of the wealth, and we lived like kings for quite a while. But one by one, people in that group started dying off. Started to change.
Like you're changing now?
You see Ludo looks like at Balloon.
And I'll show them my sparkly eyes, I'll look deeply into their eyes with my sparkles, so they know they're not the only ones,
Ludo says, show him. And you see Balloon starts to kind of peel back pieces of clothing, and you can just see these bandages, and they're soiled with it looks like oil. Just sopping wet. We thought if we came this far south, we could put some distance between us and it. Make a life helping the caravans. Look, all we did, we touched it, I guess. It was the crown. I think we can.
Sorry, my cat's
Oh,
acting up.
no,
I'll be
that's all right.
back.
We can sidebar that for a second
Oh.
and see what's happening in the camp. As Argosto is making the rounds, and he maybe notices the rest of you kind of gathered up talking a bit about your options, and he says, "What's going on over here? This is a special meeting I wasn't invited to. What? Speak up."
I'm looking around, trying to see if Lustra's in earshot.
We'll say you notice that she's on the other end of camp, and she looks like she's looking over at the pathfinders and Gnosis.
All right. Well, then I'll say, motion in and say, no, of course not. But look, here's the thing. Those Pathfinder buddies of yours, well, they did something. They took something. They pissed off the elves. And the elves have told me either they go or we all go. So obviously, it's best if they walk out of here willingly. That's what he's over there trying to convince them of.
All that is true, then that is wise. They've been helpful, but if they're endangering the whole caravan, and that's all that the elves are asking for, then I say we do it.
Well, there's a wrinkle. Lestra, she wants them for her own purposes.
Well, let me go talk to her.
Why is she here?
She's insurance.
Against.
Well, not a bad idea to have the church on your side. He also is looking. Their monastery is not far from here.
The Twilight Monastery.
Yes. She was looking for safe passage through the mountains so she could get to her new assignment.
And the Sunstone. What's her relationship there?
No relationship to Lestra. That is the property of the Ordo Magica. Figured she might be useful in maintaining a close eye on his condition as he was using the stone.
She
I'll
turned
go-
us all in, in a
Sure.
second. All of us.
No, I think you have her quite wrong. I trust her.
Why don't you ask her how she feels about corruption?
Well, I'll go and talk with her now and see what she thinks that we should do. I will give utmost priority to your way of thinking on this. If you say that they need to be turned over to the elves, well, by God, that's what we'll do. But I just need to get all of the ideas. So I'm going to talk with her for a brief moment. And so Argosto takes his leave and heads over to have a conversation with her.
Just watching this whole thing intently.
So Gnosis, the two pathfinders are talking with you. They share with you their story, that they remember holding on to this skull. There was a night where they were throwing back the drinks pretty hard around a campfire back at Thistlehold, and they were all celebrating with the skull and the crown, and they remember looking at it, and they remember the warmth that it gave off, and they felt as if it stared back at them with a glow not dissimilar to that of your eyes, just glimmering in the twilight. And they have no doubt that it was that object that maybe this whole thing started from. It was the one thing that they took from that place that likely carried that taint.
And do you know where that object is now? Who possesses it? Because I'm not going to lie to you. Perhaps the only thing I can think of that can save you at this point is to try to bargain with the elves for your life, that for the crown.
Gorak has it now. I don't know.
Offer them to take. Offer that. Look, like I said, we have. Unfortunately, I love you guys. You guys are my friends. But unfortunately, we can't risk the lives of this entire caravan for you. But what I would suggest to you is to try to barter when the elves come for you. Let them know that you know where that is and you can take them to the man that has it.
They're not going to
That
go
may be
negotiate.
that may be the only thing. Look, they may want that crown more than they want your life. That's the only thing that can save you. Right now you've got elves on you. You're not going to get them off of you. You're just going to be running for your whole life. This could be your chance.
Balloon is like hyperventilating. He's like, no, they will not negotiate. They will kill us. They will kill us. The only way we'll make it through this is if we stick by our side and help defend us against them.
I'm going to hand him the drink back and I'm going to say, take a swig of this liquid courage. Sometimes, take it from me, sometimes there are things that can be stronger than the sword. You men are strong men, and I have no doubt that you have fought many fights and won them.
No. No. And he's like throws back the drink, but you could see like he is turning like purple in the face. And Ludo is like, what? He's like grabs him and he's like shaking him. He's like, snap out of it. What's going wrong with you? What is happening to you? And you can see Balloon falls to the snow. It just starts convulsing. He's coughing up thick black tar out of his lungs.
The only thing that can help is the elves, and this is elf magic. You have to try to cut a deal with them. I don't know if it's going to work, but it might be your only chance. The only thing I can imagine is they would want that crown more than they want to kill you.
Balloon's eyes just roll back. You just see the whites of his eyes, and then his chest cavity bursts open. You see this like leathery black-skinned claw emerge out, and his whole body just rips apart as this shadowy, just like muscle-toned skin emerges up, and this creature that's like larger than him just emerges and stands erect over you, towering, 8 feet tall. And we will roll into initiative because the rest of you in the camp, you were keeping a pretty keen eye on that conversation. Like everybody, like there's a panic that washes over everybody as this happens. Because Ludo lets out a scream. Balloon, in his last moments just gave out this blood-curdling howl of pain and terror. So the initiative order here is going to be oh shoot. Well, we'll do it like this. Roll all. And then I'll just change balloon. I have to change balloon. Yes. Update him to 13. And then I think I'm square. Okay. So first person to act would be Gnosis. You just see it trembling, like the body on the ground trembling, but this new thing that has just been birthed from Balloon is just an abomination that is born clearly of corruption. It looks like its frame is bone, but then it just has this blackened like muscle tissue, that sinewy that clings to the bone. Big sharp claws at the ready.
I think I'm going to shapeshift.
All right. So let's see. Resolute test.
Let me see what it says here. I am Passive, yeah. Do this with a successful resolute test. Yep, takes the form, and I am an adept in this one, so it take the form of a wild boar or wolf. Say a wild boar. So it's just a resolute, I guess. Is that straight resolute? I guess.
Yep.
All right, let's do this.
Yay!
Whoa!
Yay! You
Woo!
succeeded.
So you
Nice.
succeed. You'll take
Yes.
1d4 temporary corruption.
Gonna be a 1.
Okay,
Nice.
great.
I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more.
No, no, you don't want more of that.
Okay.
So then you get the armored trait. Sorry,
Yeah,
let me
and
look this up real quick. These are like the monster features. So your attributes are the same as your character,
I have
but
armored and natural weapon. So armored, it says creature either has thick skin, scales, or something that would make it hard to wound. Cannot wear natural. Okay, armored.
so armored,
Condition goes on
you
with
get a
armor.
natural protection of 2.
Okay. And then I get claws, teeth, or a stinger for natural weapon.
Natural weapon deals 3 points of damage instead of the usual 2. Hmm.
Oh yeah, I guess I would have to maybe find wild boar in the book or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out because like these are like the monster abilities. Those don't really work for player because they just give straight numbers, not die rolls.
Yes, I see.
Yeah, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can find like a wild boar stat block and see if we can make sense of it that way. East.
I think 221.
Okay, the Abor.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, let's just do that for now. So when I'll just like give you the stats, Ryan. Like if you attack or get attacked, we'll use that
Yep.
as our basis.
Sounds good.
And then I
And
wonder.
then, yeah, I think that's my action, right?
'Cause then the other thing is like, does it say what happens to you when you?
Says if the Mick becomes a victim of powers that affects beasts, then it may choose to remain in beast form, has suffer, or revert back to its form. Can reroll discrete and quick tests. Enemies don't get free attacks in beast form. It says that they do not have to test resolute to remain in beast form, but has to pass the resolute test to change back.
Okay. So I think that re-roll all discrete and quick tests, including defense, is like the big bonus there, right? Like you
Yeah.
basically have like advantage
Yep.
on those pieces.
And it says for the duration of the transformation, the mystic counts as a beast.
That's really cool that you have to roll to switch back.
I kind of like that. I'll be
That's
stuck to the board
interesting.
for a little while.
Right?
Get some corruption just to turn into my beautiful self.
Yeah, this is going to be one I have to look up later because I don't really understand the adept part where you get the armored and natural weapon. I don't understand that, but
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
but for now, you have transformed and are now a boar. So I think that's your go.
I believe so.
Next up would be fetch.
We don't have weapons drawn already, do we?
No.
Well, draw my axe. And where is which one is the beastie?
Let's see. I can see Ludo's over here. Gnosis is out here talking to him. This one would be the beast. Balloon is the one that transformed.
Okay. I'll kind of just stay where I am then. Draw my axe ready to throw it at it.
Sounds good. Next up would be temper.
Okay. Well, I would have been over by Keller because I'm tied. Like he's tied up to me. So with my free hand, I'm going to draw my sword, and I'm just going to start running towards the monster, dragging Keller behind me, if he can keep up. I think I kind of forget that he's there. It's just kind of so my movement action. I don't know if I can squeeze through these areas or if I can get over there. But
Let's
if
say
I
that
can,
the
I
challenge
don't know.
here is Keller's kind of dragging his feet, so you got to drag him. Make
Okay.
a strong test, I guess.
Just roll strong.
Yeah.
All right. Pretty strong.
So you can move through there. You're large enough that you could basically. Well,
I don't know if I can jump over this thing.
Okay, you want to do jump over it?
Jumping, but like if I don't want to move through the fence, could I just climb? I don't know over the hitch or whatever that is. I don't know.
I think just based on your size, like if you move into this, basically it just like crushes it, like it falls over or whatever. It isn't like the sturdiest barricade in the world. It's very temporary kind of thing. So you just push it over and it collapses. So that'd be like your movement action. Yep. And
yeah.
You drew your weapon. So okay.
Mm-hmm.
Balloon is dead. The abomination that was born from Balloon is now up. And it is it's gonna attack, I think, Temper. So let me get back to my make a defense test. -3.
Okay.
Okay.
You fail because it starts rolling the dice, right? Or when you succeed because it'll roll the other dice. It's kind of funny when you're attacking. So I failed. My protection is 4.
Okay. So one of its claws hits you, and after the protection, you take 8 points of toughness damage.
Wow, that's my threshold.
All right, so then you get to make that choice. Do you want to be knocked prone, or do you want it to get a free attack?
Well, I'll go prone.
Okay.
Yeah.
The consequence basically being it's a movement action to stand up.
Yeah, I think I'll just go prone because if he hits me like that again, that's pretty serious. So,
And he has a second attack, so he is going to try to attack you a second time, but
okay.
another defense test, this one at -5.
Oof, that one only protected against 3.
Against 3.
Yeah.
That one will be after protection 7 points.
Okay, well that's all I got. So my total's 15. So I
Okay.
took 8 and 7.
I believe that the death, whatever they're called, death tests or death saves happen on your turn. So currently, Temper is down, or bleeding out or unconscious. So just for the healers in the group to know that that's where things are at.
And this thing hits hard, guys. So
Yes.
careful.
Glad I can re-roll my defense.
Yeah.
Elin.
Sorry, push wrong button. All right, so the first thing, okay. I am going to. I think I'm going to first rush over and try to get Temper back on her feet. So I'm going to try to go around so I don't have to run directly by the creature to get to her. So I don't know if I can get to her this time or not, or if I'm still.
I think you can.
moving.
I think you can move to her. The barricade is crushed and down, and
okay.
so yeah.
All right, so I'm going to move to her and do lay on hands.
All right. So resolute test.
All right. Oof, damn it.
Unfortunately fails.
It does. It was one off.
1d4 temporary corruption.
We do have a player reroll.
Oh, do we?
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
do you
bought
want
it.
Yeah, I know
well,
you bought it, so you don't have it.
But we don't have it.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Yeah, and then 1d4 temporary corruption. You said. Okay, hold on.
Well, now I see the request queue. I'm gonna refund these DM rerolls because I don't have rolls. So I appreciate the sentiment, chat. Okay, so one point of temporary corruption.
All right.
All right. That is going to bring us to Wes, who I think draws his weapon. He's going to move up and place himself in front of Argasto for now. A little bit of a tentative stance from him. Ludo. I'm going to say for this opening round is just standing there in a mix of just trauma of seeing his lifelong friend here die before his eyes and like just he just looks shell-shocked. Lestra is not going to waste time taking action. She pulls out her weapon. She has a spear. The spear has... Yes. She's going to move up right next to you, Papa, and seems like she's there to help defeat this thing, but she doesn't have an action to attack, unfortunately. Telk is cowering in his wagon. or underneath his wagon. Bartolom is channeling the stone. He's not doing anything. Augusto, Keller is not going to do anything. Jomilo, it is your turn.
Okay. So where's the monster right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to gonna take my move action, get over here, and do my dominate. See. Oof. That fails.
What? That's against something though, right? It's modified.
Resolute.
Resolute. Okay.
Resolute. Yeah.
Figure I'll look at it in case. No, it wouldn't help. All right. So I believe we're back to the top.
And I'll just pull out my shield and sword.
Right. Gnosis. It is your turn.
I'm gonna attack it. So how do we do that?
Yeah. Let's say this. Make an attack with one of your attacks.
Huh?
We'll base it off of your attacks and we'll just give it a little bit of a boost.
I saw natural weapon, I think gets an additional 4 damage. Dude, I had it.
So just roll on like the dagger, I guess, and
Yeah.
is there a modifier?
Oh shoot. Okay. So +2. So he's easier to hit because he's so big.
All right.
Okay. So you hit and where did you see that, Adrian?
Page 199 and 200. I'm posting it in the Discord.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have to look this up, but I'll go with that. So we'll say it does an additional 4, so it's 6, which is not quite enough to cut through its flesh.
Right.
And then that will bring us to fetch.
Well, I will move up onto the crushed barricade. And I will grab Temper and try to drag Temper back.
Sounds good. You want to employ that ability of yours, that quick test?
Yep.
And you succeed. So yeah, you're able to do this. You pull Temper back out of the fray.
I'll drag Temper back as far as I can, however far that is.
We could say get kind of to the middle of the camp there.
Cool.
All right. So it is very clearly a big mess up at the front. Temper is being pulled back, and we need to do a death test, whatever it's
Right.
called. Death. I think it is called a death test. So,
Whoops.
oh.
I didn't mean to. I typed it in wrong.
Oh, I think you
I
roll a
have to roll a
D20.
d20. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to type in there, but I didn't. I put 120 or something. The D didn't get in there.
Oh,
So,
a 2. So basically, you just remain at death's threshold.
right.
It's a little bit different than death saves in.
Oh, I have it pulled up. I read it right from the.
Oh, okay. I'm just
but
gonna.
you can say it out loud for everybody else.
Just explain it to everybody. So it works a little different than in 5e, where you're trying to stabilize. Basically, with this, you can stabilize if you roll a nat 1, but then I think it's 2 to 10. You just stay, no advancement or anything. You're still just dying essentially. And 11 to 19. That part is kind of similar to 5e because you have 3 chances before you actually die. So if you hit 11 to 19, it's like one step closer. Once you hit the 3, then you're dead. If you roll 20, I think it's instant death. So
When are you halfway dead?
So in this case with the 2, temper is just at death's threshold. And then that brings us to Balloon. And so Balloon just got struck by the boar. And so figure out what I'm going to do with that. What's your defense right now, Ryan?
It's a D4.
I'm sorry, your defense test. What's the number?
Defense test. Where's that?
It would be probably
It's
be your quick
your
or-
armor number. Right?
Your quick?
Yeah, your quick modified by like the armor that you're wearing.
Okay, so it'd be 15, and then the armor's D1, D4.
I'll just look at sheet. So we'll say your armor is
In the Discord, I put the Arbor or the
I don't think I'm gonna do that though.
pronounce that.
We'll say your quick is. We're just gonna go with your quick. It's 15, and you get to roll twice. Like that works.
Okay. Modifier?
Yes. Is -3.
-3. All right. Let's do this. Succedio.
All right. So first attack misses. Do it again for the second.
And that was a -3, you said?
-3. Yeah. Okay.
And that failed, but I
then
get to re-roll
you can
it,
re-roll
right?
it. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Oh, no, that's failed.
All right. So then roll your armor. And we'll say, what was your armor? It was a D4?
1d4, yeah.
Let's roll a second D4.
2d4s?
Yeah. Okay, so 6. So you'll take 4 points of damage.
All right.
And then that brings us to Elin.
Okay, I am
Oh,
going.
I hit my threshold. I think right. That was 4 points
Yes.
damage.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So
Go prone or additional attack.
have it attack me again.
Okay. Do the 2 defense tests. -3.
Oh, come on! I
Oh.
get to reroll it.
Yep.
I get to reroll it. Work with me here. This is like my best attribute. Come on.
Okay,
I like
got it.
that.
All right, so
And then there's one more. Is there one more?
no, because this was the bonus attack from you hitting your threshold. So
Okay, cool.
Elin's turn.
All right, I'm gonna call out to the mysterious elves in my head and say, "Hey, hey, 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 hey! They are going willingly. You take them, take them. We were trying to get them out. It's not even sundown. Can you please come and take them?"
All right.
Do I
You call
hear
out-
anything back?
No,
I'm calling. Hear nothing. All right, and I'll be moving.
Picking up the collect call.
Yeah, I'm moving towards back towards Temper so that I can try to heal her.
Okay. Resolute test.
All right. Okay.
And a success.
Yes. All right.
I think you've got the boosted up one, right?
Yes. I believe so. I think it's got something extra. I think I have it at the second level. Let's see.
Oh
Let
yeah,
me look.
1d8.
Yeah.
Nice. Take it.
Yeah. I don't know if that applied it to her automatically or not. All right. And then I'm just going to be hoping that the elves come to help us.
How many points was it?
It was, did not roll. Well, is it 12? No, that's just the result margin. Okay, hold on. Maybe it didn't actually roll the thing. Hold on. 1 second. I thought it went
I think you
onto
have to put the
her.
backslash first. It looks like you typed in.
Well, that was just to keep my to see how much damage I was doing. But the lay on hands, I clicked the lay on hands and I clicked on you, but maybe that's not how
No,
I
it didn't do anything to me.
Okay, so
Like-
how do I make it actually
I just
roll the
do the backslash 1d backslash roll space 1d8.
Okay. There we go.
So 6 points of
Nice.
toughness back to temper, and then do a d4 for your corruption.
Okay. Yeah, that was it. Oh my god. My brain is not working.
All right, 3
Ooh.
points.
It's not great.
All right. Ludo is he'll attempt to kind of snap out of it. He pulls out his axe and like swings it at the creature, but you can see that it has no effect on it. Lestra is up. she tries to strike into its flesh with the spear. It also doesn't seem to pierce through its body. That will bring us to Jomilo.
All right, so I got to do that test again against Resolute. The dominate.
-1.
Oh, man,
Oh.
it's even more painful when it's so close.
Okay, well, I am gonna take a swing at it.
So I'll say you're up in the melee.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys have, I think everybody that's involved in the melee has flanking it. So your test +2.
Damage. Jeez.
Flanking, does flanking come with additional damage? Additional D4, I think, maybe?
Yes.
Additional
It's
D4.
yeah, it says deals
Oh.
1d4 extra damage.
All right, so your sword, just like the others, like the sword just doesn't cut through it. You can tell it's gonna take a practiced angle of a blade to be able to cut into this thing. That'll bring us to the boar.
Yeah, I guess I'll go get after it again. See what happens. So just roll an attack with my dagger, right? You said.
Yep. +2. Actually, the +4 in total. But you hit. You can roll an additional D4 for flanking. Which is good.
And then
so,
there was there additional damage for the natural weapon or whatever?
Oh yeah, I think I said, what did I roll? An additional D4?
I
I
forget.
think that's what I did. So
Okay,
throw another
one
D4
more.
in there. Oh, nice.
Take it. We'll take it. So 12 in total.
12 in total. You take the first bit of flesh out of it. As you
Like
pull, the
toughness.
boar's tusks like bear into the sinewy flesh and then just like rip it apart from like its body. And you can see there's like it just like yarn ripping. It's just like cuts right through it. And so you could see it kind of recoil and howl. A few more of those might do it. All right.
Big hit. No whammies.
Fetch.
Run back in now. And I'm going to hit it with my throwing axe. Not throwing it, just swinging it. Do I add a modifier for flanking, is it? Or +2? Okay.
Yeah, actually +4.
Cool. Fingers crossed.
Oh, nice. And then, yeah, throw a D4 of damage for flanking on top of that.
Okay.
A total
Additional
of
2.
9. Yeah, so you managed to hack a bit of flesh off of it as well. But it is still on its feet.
All right. Something.
Sweet.
And Temper, you are coming back into the world with your hit points or toughness back.
I am prone, so I have to do a quick test to see if I can stand up, which is my movement action. So Can I do an additional one? Can I try again as
Sure.
my action?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So it's just like I'm tripping over the rope that's tied to Keller. I don't know, but I'll try to stand up again. All right.
There you go. Okay.
So I'm standing. Yay. That's all I can do.
Yeah, Keller's probably telling you, like, no, stay down. This is the safest place.
Oh,
They're doing
no, we gotta
great.
kill it. No.
Oh, jeez.
How about I throw you in there and you kill it? You're strong.
It's quiet.
A wagon driver shaped projectile weapon.
All right, the abomination is going to take its attacks, and yeah, it just took a palpable blow from the boar, so he's going to attack the boar. Do a defense test.
You said
-3?
quick, and it was -3, right? I get to re-roll that.
Yep.
Come on. Shoe. Yeah,
Oh,
baby.
there you go.
Nice. All right,
And
so
there's
that's
another attack.
that's attack 1, and then do it again for the second attack.
Okay, -3. Come on, baby, don't make me have to re-roll this. Oh, jeez. Okay, yeah, let's re-roll that.
Keeping the tension on it. Success.
Wow.
You dodged both of those. You'd see its movements maybe just a tiny bit more sluggish. It was pretty quick out of the body, but now that it's endured a bit of damage, it's slowing down. Elin, it is your turn.
I'm gonna hop up on this, little buggy here, try to get a little bit of view of what's going on outside of the fray, because I'm assuming I otherwise can't see very well. So I'm gonna hop up here and then pull out my bow and arrow. And I think that's all I can do, right? I can't actually try to shoot him at this
Correct.
point.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm just up there at the ready.
All right. Wes. Ludo is, trying to do his best to. He's helping out by giving a bit of flanking and such. Lestra, striking with her spear, not taking much effect. Jomilo.
All right, let's see if I can do this dominate test and succeed. Modifier -1.
Yep.
Okay. Right.
Go.
And then I will swing at it with my sword. -3. Or no, with flanking.
With flanking, it will be a +4.
+4?
Yeah.
Okay.
So +4 to your target, so it should be easier for you to hit that.
Yeah. You say that, but let's see.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. That's a swing.
That finally. And the additional D4.
9
12.
total? 12 total?
12 total.
Oh, I see. Damage 10
That was a
plus
good
2.
hit.
Yeah.
Another big piece lopped off of it. It's just the strands of muscle tissue are just like falling off of it, just leaving bits of bone. But there's still enough that it has still got like one claw that it's like moving about. That'll bring us
Jomilo would just scream, "Go down, you beast!"
Gnosis.
We're getting after it again. We're gonna go in for another tusk strike. here.
Got this. You got this.
So did we say with the flanking, it's a +4
The
instead of a
flanking,
-3?
the flanking gives a +2. Its defense is a +2, so +4 to your target.
Come on, baby. Let's get some shoes.
Then you hit,
And
and then basically an additional 2d4 for flanking plus your boar added strength.
It's a natural weapon thing.
not much. I don't think it takes any damage.
Yeah, that doesn't do enough to get through its armor or its defense. Armor.
All I got.
Fetch.
Right. Try to hit this thing and see if we can get it back in the body. 4 for flanking. That's a whiff.
All right. Temper.
Well, I want to get over there. Am I able to get
you know
through?
what? Sorry. We're going to say that Keller helped you up on his turn. Like, that's what he did.
Oh, well, I stood up last time.
You did.
I just didn't know. I was asking. I didn't know if I could walk through all these people to get over there.
Yeah, you can get through them to get over there.
Okay. So as a free action, I'm going to go into Berserker Rage because this thing hit me and made me very angry. And now I'm going to try to swing my sword at it. So I will try to do that. And
Total
what?
of +4.
Okay, +4. And I'm
Let's go, Temper.
Berserker Raging. +4. And I'm robust. Here we go.
And here comes the truck.
So I should probably add another D4 of the flanking damage to
Yes.
that. Okay. So there's 2 more. 13. Yes. I can add.
Go ahead and describe your kill.
Well, this one I think because there's already all these little cuts and jabs because you guys have been goring it and slicing it. I'm going to play connect the dots with my sword and just go slice, slice, slice. That's what I'll do.
And as you do that, it collapses. It's like cutting the strings off of the puppet, and you hit the last bits and pieces that kept it mobile, and it just drops. And the skeletal frame of the thing just kind of turns to ash as it hits the ground. Now there's still a bloody heap of what was Balloon on the ground that is kind of separate from this abomination that was born from him. But you see Ludo just drop to his knees, and he grabs what was his friend's hand and is just kind of holding it, and he's just just this really visceral sob.
Is that going to happen to you too, Ludo?
I don't know. I think he was a lot further along than I was. And then Lestra immediately is he could be helped. I could take him, and we have healers. She says,
How many elves are out there?
The elves were very explicit in their instructions that we hand them over or we all are collectively punished. So Lestra, I don't know if you want to go face down the elves while you take him to your Twilight Monastery, but I'm assuming the answer to that is no. There's only one thing we can do. Look, you try to bargain with the crown. Do your best, but there's nothing we can do from you. There's nothing any of us can do for her, especially not her. Don't let her convince you. You just have to face this.
Sadly,
Lestra,
you made your choice when you joined that crew and went into Davicor.
Lestra will say one last thing before she will just withdraw from the situation and let you all make your decision or whatever. She'll just say, if he's with me, then the elves' problem is with us. I could take him, but we would have to leave now. And then she's like done arguing or whatever, and she just like goes back into the camp.
There is that option, guys. That tell the elves they've absconded. They're not here.
Tell them exactly where they
And
went.
maybe the elves will take out Lestra for us.
That exactly. We say, hey, he went with Lestra. That way.
Mm-hmm.
Two birds, one stone there.
Yep.
Do you think
Hate
that they'll
to say
believe
it,
us?
Yeah, they can magically ascertain where he is. It'll be fine.
They might still be mad. We're supposed to
What
give
could we
him.
do? What could we do?
We're supposed to
Couldn't
give
stop.
him to the elves.
No, we were supposed to just, not fight with them against the elves, right? Or something.
I mean, they wanted our decision. I think saying we kicked him out of camp is sufficient.
That's not a lie. That's the truth.
I
wait,
think
are-
they want
are-
him. I think
are
they
we-
want him.
Are we saying that we kicked them out, or are we saying that they escaped?
I mean, I think if we tell them we kicked them out so that they would, that the elves could just come for them, I don't know.
I mean,
We assumed we didn't have to put them on a silver platter. You are elves,
right, that you find them wandering in the snow, searching desperately.
I didn't hear the elves. I don't know what they said.
They wanted our decision, and I think that we can just say very clearly our decision was we kicked them out. We didn't want to be part of their river of blood, so they are no longer with us. We have parted ways.
Yes, the river has split.
We tell them the truth. Balloons erupted, and then the Black Cloak fled with. I was going to say Juno. What's his name? Ludo.
I have to be honest with you. I'm not usually a man for the truth, but I like this plan. I feel like what do we have to hide? That's what it is. Again, we made our decision. Our decision was not to protect them. And we wish you the best, Mr. and Mrs. Elf, but we have got to be on our way.
I think it's
Hopefully.
reasonable.
And make sure you just give back the bracelet too. Old sentimental value.
Well, they can have her body and all of that. I mean, we no use for anything. Just we have no qualm. We have no beef with the elves. And none of us are stupid enough to go into that forest, right? Very
I don't think
pointedly
so.
at everyone in around.
Tell her.
I don't remember.
That's concerning. All right, so
Oh, ogre stuff. We just show up without memories and stuff. So it's like, I don't know if I've been in the forest.
Could have come out of there for all we know.
Yeah.
All right.
but they didn't mention you. You're good.
I never
Okay.
signed a contract saying I wasn't going to dig in no woods.
That's true. You're not human. So, it sounds like the group has decided that they will let Lestra take Ludo. Ludo probably would have protested this a little bit more, but after seeing what happened to Balloon, he can be convinced to go peacefully. So the two of them leave camp.
Our group is getting very small.
Well, we're much better off without that woman. She's just a danger to all of us.
Ludo, I think will go to Gnosis. He doesn't really say much to you, but he hands you that flask. It is empty at this point, but he just gives it to you. Puts his hand on your shoulder and just kind of like a knowing acknowledgement that this is goodbye and he probably won't see you again. But just respect. And then he follows after Lestra, who's already like taken to the wilderness. Runs and catches up with her.
I'll probably turn to Elin and say, I hope for his sake that they can help him. He's got a good heart. He just followed the wrong people into the wrong place. Could have happened to any one of us, especially our ogre friends here.
You think they're going to make it?
I don't trust Lestra as far as I can throw her.
Oh, no,
I
she's...
mean,
the elves
elves.
even less.
Oh, yeah, I mean, she's probably torturing him right now, or, or maybe the elves got there first. Either way, the poor man, but hopefully his sacrifice will allow us to get to where we need to go.
This whole caravan.
Yeah. Anybody good at pathfinding? Hmm.
I
Friends
mean,
roll.
Keller's like, I could give it a try. So, the snowfall is still pretty heavy throughout the remainder of the day. But you still have a pretty good sense of light and things like that, and it starts to get dark. Campfires are getting set, and everybody is on edge as they wait.
Can I use... Oh, sorry. I didn't.
Oh,
I
go
thought
ahead.
you were finished.
No, go
I
ahead.
was just going to see if I could use my recovery to just get
yeah.
a little more
Mhm.
toughness back. So, thank you. You can continue.
Oh yeah, just there's an anxiousness in camp as it starts to get dark.
Yeah, our protectors, our night watch is gone.
Yeah. I'm not good at pathfinding, but I can watch. Keller and I can
I
watch.
guess I'm still a boar, huh? I gotta roll to not be a
It's you're still
The
a
whole
boar.
time.
you're talking to a boy the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay a boar so I can keep the patrol tonight.
Oh, there you go. Boar patrol.
Well, the elves are going to reach out, aren't they?
What's that?
The elves,
The elves, yeah,
the
they're
elves are
supposed
still going to reach out to us for our decision.
Oh yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
are you you must be shape shifted back at this point.
I'll have to roll here. What do I gotta? I gotta do a resolute.
We can assume that at some point during the day you'll have succeeded on that or whatever.
And if that scene ended, you would have got your corruptions back.
Yes.
Yes.
Both you and Elin? Elin?
Yes, we got
Yes.
some corruption going on.
So it's getting to be not quite nightfall, but you can feel that in the coming hour they're expecting you'll have some visitors in camp. And you hear a growl coming from the south. This bestial roar. And pretty soon, coming into the bubble of the warmth that emanates from the sunstone, you see this hulking bear stands like 15 feet tall.
Okay. Big bear.
And it just like stands, I don't know, maybe like 15, 20 feet away from like the barricade or whatever. And in the darkness that is coming down, all of a sudden the snow stops. As the blanket of white is gone, and you can see kind of the shadow that comes around the camp. You could see like two little tiny blue pinpricks of light, almost like a pair of eyes staring out at the camp. And this similar voice that is familiar to Elin asks, "Have you made your decision?"
Yes. Hi. Hi. Yes, they're gone. They're gone. We've cast them out.
Our instructions were for you to hand them over to us.
We thought it would be quite simple for you to find them. You found them here just to grab them outside of the camp.
We can give you the dead one.
But you do have one of them exploded. So we just didn't want the other one hanging around here waiting for him to explode. Literally exploded. I mean, he's over there. Look.
You play games as your kind is wont to do. You have seen here today what comes of that. This transgression we will ignore for our kin back. But make no mistake, if we had wanted to, your lives would be ours. Share stories of what happened here today. Make sure that the lesson of what happens when your people trespass on Davakar, let it be known.
Are we all hearing this?
Yeah, it's like it's almost like a magical effect on the air, almost like a some kind of mystical power that they are using to create this like intimidating voice over the camp.
When he mentions his kin, then I would pick up the dead elf and carry it out towards him.
The bear will kind of lumber forward, and it'll open its mouth and like grab hold of the corpse, and then begin to move back towards the darkness where you're hearing the voice come from. And with that, it seems that they leave you alone. And it is still, the storm is gone, but your best sense is that they are now on the heels of Lestra and Ludo. Argosto, somewhere in the camp, lets out a big sigh of relief.
Dodge that bullet.
There's a big bear. With a weird accent.
Very breathy.
Yeah. But we survived. And we can move forward.
We've lost some friends, but we'll live to see another day.
And maybe you'll make it. You never know.
Yep. The sun may shine again if the elves kill Lestra.
We can only hope.
I mean, she's with them now. She's with Ludo, so that was sort of the thing. Maybe the elves will propose a deal to her, but you know she won't take it.
She's all they. She said something. You heard her that if they, they'd be going against the entire order, basically. I don't know. I don't trust any of them, but
What would happen if they made it back? Would the elves like besiege this monastery or whatever it is? It'd be kind of wicked.
I'd like to watch that.
Must
From
have
a
been
nearby
an
mountaintop.
must have been a very important crown.
Yeah, must have been. I wonder if he can barter with them. I wonder if he can talk his way out of this by showing them where the crown is.
What happened to Balloon? Is that what you two risk all the time? Or is
In
that
a way?
well,
because of the crown?
yes and no. We recover. He wouldn't recover. It was the crown was giving him just constant damage that he couldn't overcome. Ours is measured. You go to sleep, it's gone. You're fine, unless it's too much, and then it can accumulate. But what he had was different. It was just every day getting more and more.
So that could happen to the Sunstone guy? Or is it the same thing? Like it'll go away after?
I imagine it's a similar corruption. That's what happens when you pull too much of the power pulls from you too.
Right now, he's managing it. It's going away. He's able to rest, and it comes off. I don't know how much longer he'll be able to manage it, though. He's getting weaker. And as he gets weaker, it becomes more likely that the corruption stays. We have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, we don't want another beast climbing out of another one of us.
I'm kind of glad I don't have powers.
Me too. Me too.
Seems like a lot.
I'm just happy I could swing a sword, I guess.
Yeah, I'll just throw an axe at things and occasionally stick something. And then carry things and heal people.
You helped me. You helped me a lot. You and Elin. You my friends.
We are.
Yes.
I am.
Yes, I am.
Elin.
No. Yes, we are friends. I'm glad we could get you back on your feet.
You hit hard, Temper.
I do when I hit hard. When I'm angry. Yeah.
So, with that conflict sidestepped for now at least, the issues with the weather seem lessened. In the coming days, Bartolom doesn't have to work nearly as hard with the Sunstone to get you where you're going. And basically, over the coming days, the caravan is successful in moving through the Titans. You're still kind of keeping an eye out for those bandits, but they don't seem... either they don't catch up with you because of all of this that happened with the elves and things like that, or they've determined you're too dangerous to mess with. You're not really sure, but it still leaves you with an uneasy feeling that you're still being stalked somehow. But that feeling sort of goes away as you are coming out of the hills, out of the mountains and into the foothills at the base of the Titans, and you can see now the fertile lands on the southern side of this incredible river that bisects the terrain. And down in like the lower valley of where you're coming out from, you can see that there is a great, it looks like essentially a big refugee camp on the southern side of this river. That river is probably maybe like 1,000 feet wide. It's not the type of thing that you could just swim past or whatever. Like you would need a boat or a way to navigate across. But on the southern side of the river, there is a fortress that sits on a outcropping of rock, kind of a small island in the river. And there's a bridge that spans from the mainland to the south of the river to that island. And that island at its base has a number of docks and boats and things like that. This is Prios Pass, and this is sort of the border checkpoint for people coming from the south to come into Ambria. And so that big refugee camp that you see is probably a place that you might have to stay for a little bit, potentially either a few hours or a few days. Argasto tells you that he's got connections, and he's pretty sure that he can get you in, and at that point he will pay you, and this would be where you would split ways unless at some point in the future he hires you on or whatever. But that is where the next adventure is going to take place, is here at this camp, and trying to get entry into the country. So basically people make appointments, and then they have to meet with a representative from Ambria. It's immigration. It's talking to you about where you've been. You can imagine they assess how corrupted you are coming from the Dark Lord's domain, or what the lands that were attacked by the Dark Lord. So that's a piece of it, and questions about who your family is, what you're bringing into the country, all those types of things. So people generally have to cross that bridge, go to the fortress, and once they're approved, then they could take a ferry into the country. So we'll recap all of that, the logistics of what that looks like next time. But you have made it through the Titans, and you are now in the Promised Land. And that's the adventure, the Promised Land. So.
Aww.
We made it.
Not all of us made it.
Yes.
Got a little hairy there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keller did, though.
Somehow Keller persists.
Yeah. He's like the cockroach, right?
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed your first little taste of Symbaroum, and we'll hopefully continue some of what we started here with these first couple of sessions, and we'll do the next segment of the story a few weeks from now. I don't remember exactly what the date is, but sometime in July, or was it the end of June? Maybe it's the end of June is our next one.
Might be the 29th.
That sounds right.
Yes.
That sounds right. So, thanks everyone for hanging out and watching. I guess as we close this out, we this is something that we do at the end of some of our games, is we give appreciation to our fellow players for something that they did or something that they brought to the game that made it enjoyable for us. So I'll kind of open the floor to the players to express some of that.
I liked how Ryan as Papa Gnosis tried to befriend the two pathfinders, while everybody else was, my character was like, no, just hand them over, who cares? And I enjoyed that bit of RP.
Thank you.
I concur. I really enjoyed seeing the interaction with the Pathfinders and Ryan. So
I liked all of that, all of the little side parts of it where, Lauren's character is like being asked to like sniff him out and find him guilty. Papa Gnosis is over there going, "No, it's all right, got your back." And then we got myself standing over to the side there going, like with going, what do we do? Are we supposed to just hand him over? Or we, can we get by without pathfinders? She's sus as hell. Like, just yeah. I like the little three sets of, not politics, but three little situations going on around the same situation. I like that.
I'm kind of with you on that. Like, Alex kind of warned us that there was going to be some things that could like divide the party and whatnot. And with stuff like that, you always wonder, like, what's the dynamic going to be? Is everybody going to just kind of fall in line? Is everybody going to kind of hold what they think should be done and kind of test the line and stuff? And I think what was really cool and why I'm kind of throwing mine out to everybody is everybody did kind of play their character to the hilt, despite what that would do with the party politics and stuff. And I think that really adds a really cool vibe to this whole game. So yeah, I don't think I really got it when you warned us, Alex, but now I get it and I like it.
Wow. I like temper. Also, am grateful that you guys kept me alive. Especially, I'm finding when healing risks corruption, it's like even more meaningful, right? Like, so if someone's trying to help you at their own cost, like that's, I don't know, that's
Yeah.
a lot. That's a lot different than a healing word that just gets tossed your way. So it's kind of like, ooh, yeah. So yeah, having those two characters, Fetch and Elin, you guys, getting me out of danger, get me back up. It's like, oh my gosh, one roll and you're dead. Like it's different. It's different because you got to pull those weapons. So like your first round, you can't do it. Well, some of you guys can do stuff because you have like natural stuff, but us fighters, it's like very little we can do. And then, yeah, it's it's more brutal. But yeah,
Yeah, I was
thank you for keeping me up.
jokingly going to say Fetch just walks around with his axe and his dagger in his hand all the time now.
Yeah.
I know.
Well-
I'm serious. Like I've got Keller here and a sword in my other hand because I'm not wasting a turn. It was round 4 before I could do any damage in that battle. So
Yeah, Forbidden Lands
Herbal remedy pouch hanging out of the mouth. Yeah.
Forbidden Lands is the same way. So Dawson's he's always mentioning in his descriptions of things, I have my weapon out or I have my whatever out.
that's funny.
Also, we can't forget how Temper one-shotted a 10-foot wolf.
That was fun.
That's pretty
All the
amazing.
little mozzie stabs, and then just a truck falls out of the sky on top of that thing. It was nuts.
Was it
I didn't
17
realize-
points?
It was a lot.
17.
15 or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it was. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of damage. Yay.
Yeah, but I
can
mean,
do
like,
one thing, guys, that's all I can do. Okay.
for those things, you kind of need that though. Like, because their armor, like, I don't know, Balloon's armor was 7. If you have to clear, you have to clear 7, damage him.
Brutal.
Yeah.
So like I think maybe like the intention is like you almost need the flanking, like because some of the things like without the flanking, like how the weapons just don't do enough to like maybe on a D8 you get 1 point of damage if you roll an 8.
Yeah.
So all of those abilities.
It's a different way of doing it. I really like it.
Cool. It's
Got to
interesting.
get my head around it though. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost have to like recalibrate what you know is like good or decent or like worthwhile because it's hard in the moment to know. It was kind of like with your shapeshift into the boar. I'm kind of like, I don't know, this rule stuff, like the way it's listed here is meant for monster stats, not players. So I have to invent something, but what do I invent that's meaningful? I don't play this game enough to know like what would work. But
there's got to be something official that we can figure out.
Yeah, I'll take a look and see if I can find something that makes more sense than what that ability says. Something that, especially since it's your rank 2 ability, like it should be.
Yeah, it's my big one.
So
It's the thing that keeps me fighting.
well, I had a really fun time just seeing how you guys played with the NPCs. Like it's one of those things where there's like so many NPCs, like it's hard to know like who's going to resonate with what character, but like everybody kind of picked up different characters and built those little stories that kind of helped make it more meaningful. It's a travel journey, so like having some of those relationships built, um, from the get go, from the very first session, like like Temper's relationship with Telk, which like kind of translated to Keller, um, and like Gnosis in this session doing the same thing with the Pathfinders, like all of that, like made it more meaningful when these characters come into dire straits or whatever, so there'll probably be a bit more of that. Now you're going to be in like a big camp, so you can only imagine like how crazy that could get. So, but we'll pick that up next time. And thanks everybody. We're 20 sides to every story. If you haven't come and seen us in our Discord server, please join that. But for tonight, hey Bohica, good to see ya. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. We'll go and do a raid and call it a night. So thanks everyone. See you all soon.